Hello, my name is Marcus. I'm the compiler of a collection of therapy quotes entitled 1001 Windmills of the Mind, a collection of advanced self-help quotes taken from what's called the psychodynamic or the psychoanalytic perspective, which long ago, as I understand, was referred to by some, perhaps many, as philosophical medicine and narrative medicine. This will be part 3 of a 3-video special run on one of the most difficult topics covered so far today. So this will be a continuation of the past 2 videos. And disclaimer, I'm not a criminologist, I'm not a forensic psychiatrist, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a therapist or a counselor. I only have a BA, I've never been analyzed, I've never studied psychology. I'm the compiler of the quotes. So the vast majority of the quotes are very safe. Projection, projective identification of the aggressor. How do we upgrade either or to get the both and? It's a key one. Okay, repetition compulsion, symbolic acting out, okay, or transference acting out, or overlaying the past to the present, seeing the present as new dishes of the past, hoping for a better past. Dysfunction is the hope for a better past. You got to consent that the trauma did take place. So attachment theory, attachment trauma, relational trauma, developmental trauma, strain trauma, ambient trauma, and a little bit on the perinatal trauma as well. So these are kind of, manageable ideas, at least. Difficult to heal, of course, but in terms of the quotes we posted here, I feel like, 99% of it's been pretty, uncontroversial, let's say, basically. But the past 2 are controversial, definitely. And this one will be part 3, and then I'll have to give it a rest. So once again, I feel a little hesitant about this whole topic. It's out of my zone, psychopath, LGBT, that kind of area. So we covered a little bit from the book Female Perversions by Louise J. Kaplan. Very good book. That was the last video. And then an assortment of quotes on the psychopathic idea. And one lady said the core issue is a detachment of the feelings. There's no link between the feelings and the thoughts. So the thoughts are rebellion against everything because there's no feeling to be inner focused with. There's no inner reference. So they don't feel responsible, they don't feel guilt, remorse, they don't feel anything really or something. So they're just, for the sake of activity, they're aggressive outwardly. And that's, if you trace it back, all destructiveness, anger, revenge, whatever, any kind of hateful expression, even crime and all, it's really a cry for love, to get mother's love in the past, to have your feelings. The natural state of affairs, you're loved by your mother, okay, you feel safe with her, you blossom with them. The emerging self, the budding beauty of the emerging self stays with you and is a part of you. And there's your ethics, morality, okay, and moral sanity, right? Long ago they would call it moral insanity. So the moral sanity or the moral sense of self or the integrity or the embodiment, the ensoulment, another way of saying it, ensoulment, feeling real and alive. That's a simple way of saying it, feeling real and alive. The psychopathic characters, or however you want to, whatever synonymous terms you want to use, the extreme, severe end of narcissism, antisocial, or borderline compulsive, whatever other people use. This phrase, by the way, has an immense amount of. There's just as much confusion about how to talk about this thing, even more so than BPD. Now, BPD is kind of erratic, and hysteria is kind of erratic. I mean, hysterical and personality or something. So this is also, like this morning a quote was, I saw one quote, the guy said, he quoted one shrink from the prison or something. He said, 80 to 90% are psychopath in the jail like that. Nearby, similar kind of setup, but the shrink said, about 20%. Like it's so, but everything else was the same, more or less the same. So there's no real agreement on even how to define like what it is really. The commonality is, of course, with the checklist and all that, is they never feel any sense of that they're wrong or guilt or remorse or apology. There's no feeling of empathy or anything like that. So they're coming from a place that there's no inner reference to guide them or lead them or let them know anything. So there's no anxiety or something. There's no anxiety about what they do. So they don't feel responsible for their actions. They don't feel their slogan is something's only wrong, I guess, if they catch me. If they don't catch me, I guess it's right. It's a psychopathic slogan like that. Also known as moral insanity under the mask of sanity. Okay, so the quotes, that last video was sort of that was a good video. I thought it was a 3.5-hour video. I crammed in 3 pages of material on the psychopath and the LGBT kind of area. So both topics are out of my zone, but to my surprise, I thought it was a little manageable. I thought it was a little bit educational like that, and the video before as well. So let's see how we do in part 3, and maybe just on the lighter side. Let me start off with before we get into the heavy part 3 here. I just found a song. This morning by 3 young ladies, a trio. They're in their 20s or something. They write songs at home or something. I didn't know that. I never heard of them before. They're very famous now. They're mega stars and all that. And they just put out a new single. So I thought, it's sort of a. They have a lyric in one of their songs in that new single of theirs. Let's see if I can dig it up here. Hang on. Oh yeah, I'm talking about a song called "Both Can Be True." They're the 3 young ladies. They call themselves a Truesdale. Both Can Be True. It's a nice little sort of fun pop, sort of folky pop kind of song. And let's run through it quickly, just on the lighter side here. But I highlight this because they talk about the unconscious. They talk about the unconscious. So even in their 20s, in their lyrics, they're talking about there's something going on in my unconscious. I've got an inner conflict. There's a battle going on within me. There's some kind of conflict. There's some kind of inner conflict. I'm at war with myself, kind of thing. Living at home with my parents. Obviously, they're rich now. Maybe. I doubt they're still living at home with their parents. But anyway. Anyways, the lyrics here is living at home with my parents. I am grateful and embarrassed to be 29 on a dime, on a dream. So maybe a lot of young people can relate to that. So you're grateful, you have your support of your family, embarrassed that you're not on your own yet. You're 29, when does life begin? You're broke, but you got a dream. Am I a failure? Am I a fortress kind of thing? Am I going to be okay? There's some kind of, she says here, my unconscious is at war with itself. Okay, the inner conflict. So we talked about yesterday the idea that when the burglar describes it, that the baby has no motor skills. And if he's angry, he can't express it, inexpressible fury kind of thing. But the wiring is there as he's angry. So when he grows up, it gets motor skills. The wiring is it rebounds and inside is going to attack himself, inner conflict. Self-activation triggers your anger. So originally, whenever the mother failed with the baby, he couldn't really express his anger, but he was angry. The wiring went to himself. Okay. So the baby wants to live in love, reach for mother, attachment striving, attachment craving, attachment hunger, love hunger, all life forces object seeking. The baby wants to live and love and connect and have attachment, go through developmental process. So his feeling self, his budding beauties and soulmate, okay, the inner morality, ethics, inner ethics and feelings. Your feelings come from ethics. You need feelings for ethics. You need feelings to feel apology. You need feelings to feel badly about something. So the baby reaches for mother to develop all that, to be at home with him and have his golden ball, the radiance and all that. So the baby's reaching for the connection to be able to go through the developmental process, which leads to an I, the core I, the real I, the true I, ethical I, okay? And then the golden ball, the radiance of feelings, needed feelings, appropriate feelings, wide range of feelings, aliveness of feelings, feeling about it. And the blue jay part of it is when you express what's unique about you, there's a pleasant feeling symbolized by the blue jay. I'm borrowing from the Shirley Temple. The bluebird of happiness is within. That's meaning and a pleasurable delight, a blue jay delight, like a pleasant feeling that you're expressing what's unique about you, but you have the I, and when you're aware of your authentic I, you're going to be aware of what's a little unique about you, and you'll express it as like a blue jay, a butterfly, something beautiful flying like that. So the baby's kind of reaching out for the mother. I want to develop with you here. Thank you for the womb time. I had my paradise, my womb utopia. Thank you for not smoking when I was inside. Thank you for not arguing. Thank you for being there for me. I had a good time in the womb. I had a good time. Huh? Boston. Just remember the singer for the band Boston just passed away. One of the songs from the classic rock band Boston. I had a good time. Mother, I had a good time. I had my good time in the womb. Paradise, Shambhala, Shangri-La, Nirvana, Paradise, Unio, Mystica, Participation, Mystique, blissful oneness, oceanic feeling, oceanic bliss, no time, no space, floating around, everything met automatically. I had a good time. Thanks, Ma, I had a good time. But you know what, Mother? I need that good time to continue for the first 4 to 5 months. Please leave the cord. Please leave the placenta. Place me on your belly, skin to skin. Let me feed accordingly. Create the rhythm of bliss, rhythm of safety. Give me an outer version of the inner version. Give me like a continued version of what I had inside. Give me like an egg, like a cocoon. The two is one, mother, infant, dual unity. Give me an extended paradise, an extended social, interpersonal paradise. Like a land version of the water version. I made a huge transition. I'm a hero, Mother. I came out of the water world, now I'm in the land world. I'm a hero, but I need time to get used to things here, and I'm still developing. I need to say, I trust you. All my desires to reach for you. I need a secure attachment. Well, so if Mother misses it for whatever reason, a whole long list of reasons of why Mother might be missing it, malattuned and all that. She might be still in her past, hoping for a better past on her end. The present's still the past for her. She recreates a version of her past to the present, hoping to change her past to get a better past on her end. So she's still living in the past, dwelling in the past, and she overlays her past, unfinished, unresolved problems to the present, recreates in the present new version of the past, hoping for a better past on her end. Meanwhile, she's not seeing the child as who the child is, a little human being with needs. Mother, I'm a human being with needs here. Mother says, I'm too busy in my past pain, unresolved issue. I'm in pain with my mother, and I got to repeat I'm still there. I can't be in the present, for I don't have the I to do so. I don't have the I that, like when a mother says, I love you, baby, there's an I. I don't have that. So I have a problem with my mother. I got to resolve that first. Mother, for Pete's sakes here, can't you resolve that? Couldn't you have resolved that before you had me or something so you could love me? Well, anyways, so commonly the mother has trauma herself, and she's living in the past and hoping for a better past. So she'll be dysfunctional by repeating new versions of her past in the present, hope for a better past. It's not going to work. She doesn't know what happened. She doesn't know that it happened, so she repeats it in an attempt to know. She repeats a hope for a better past. Now, this repetition of the past to the present can take a variety of forms. She can turn to the baby's symbolic mother and turn to the baby to mother her. Because when real needs are not met, you have the unconscious hope for the fulfillment of those needs. So the mother might say, hey, baby, you know what? My mother didn't love me. Why don't you do it? I made you to find me. Why don't you meet my needs? Be a symbiotic object for me. Be present for me. See me. Make me important. Feed me, kind of thing. Mother, what the hell are you? You're supposed to do that for me. No, you do that for me because I never got it. Mother, I'm overwhelmed by this. I can't do this. Or sometimes the mother just simply just reenacts what happened. In a talionic feeling, talionic impulse, talionic revenge, she's going to shame her own baby the way she'd been shamed, as if to say, hell, look, world, look at what my mother did to me. See my baby here? That's me back then. See what I'm doing? That's what my mother did. I'm showing you what my mother did to me. I'm going to cast the role of my own baby as me back then, and I'm going to play my own mother back then. And look, world, look at what my mother did to me. I'm angry at her, and I want her to change. I want to show her up. I want to expose her. I'm angry at her. I want her to change, and she thinks magically she can somehow do it. She's hoping for a better past. All dysfunction is the desperate hope for a better past. She can't use the child to mother. That's not going to work. She can't shame the child hoping to get a better past and showing up the mother idea. And there's other little kind of variations of this kind of error. So the mother's panicking. The mother's frantically trying to get a better past because she's supposed to mourn her, identify, talk about it, go through the hero's journey, second journey, do midlife audit, midlife scrutiny period, okay, the twilight zone, next stop. Okay, she got to face her someday complex, guilt complex. We either got to both have forgive her parents. She got to go through kind of talking process, carrying witness. She's got to have reaction, feeling, knowing, got to study family systems, theory, the roles. She got to have an understanding of what happened so she can accept the consent that happened and forgive up, hope for a better past, and realize she's not guilty. She got to do some kind of work on her end, and then she'll get a feeling about it. When she gets her feelings about it, then of course she's ethical. When she gets her feelings and her identity, she's ethical. She'll love the baby, and she'll see the baby as a person. Oh, somebody just lost their umbrella. Oh, some umbrella just flew across them. Okay. To my surprise, this is the first time on a Monday I've come out here and it's not too crazy busy. Usually Mondays are very busy here. It's 38 with the heat index. It's 40 or 41 or something. This only lasts for an hour and a half, so let's see how we do here. I'm still a little recovering from the last time. Okay, so this is a major topic called the oak cunning tales on the mother end. Like we've got dozens of oak cunning tales discussing how it is and different variations of how a mother's failing the baby, betraying the baby. Oh man, we could spend hours. It's a 10-hour topic on the list of ways, more than 50 ways the mother betrays the baby. It's unbelievable. Some mothers don't even want to nurse the baby because she wants to jiggle the mammies to guys to the office, to use seductionist power, because she wants to control the men, thinking the men are her mother back in the past, use seductionist power, knowing that the men at the office imprint on the breast. She jiggles the mammies. Men are gaga. She controls the guys, and the attention she gets from the guys by jiggling the mammies. It's her fantasy of getting narcissistic supply. She's center stage, she's important, she's all important, she's center stage, she's jiggle and the men respond. So she won't feed the baby. Some mothers don't even want to feed the baby, so she can have that power, seductionist power on the men like that. So she's hurting the own baby, ignoring the needs, rights of the baby, just for her unresolved issue to get mother's love in the past via the transfers of mother onto the fellows of the office, and wants symbolic mother by getting attention from the men. So that's just one of many. It's got a long list like that. So whatever it is, the child's not, it's not the thou to thou, the person to person thing is not taking place because the mother wasn't seen as a thou herself. So she doesn't have the eye to see the thou-ness of the child. So the baby's going to be angry by this, right? Baby's saying, "Mother, what's going on here? You seem caught up in your past. Why can't you be present for me? I'm your little baby, nature's greatest miracle. Isn't this the greatest thing for you? You seem indifferent. You treat me like a thing. You're ignoring me. You seem very soul blind. Soul blindness. Mother's soul blind because her soul is frozen with trauma." Oh yeah, okay. There's going to be a lot of noise here because I'm in the middle of some kind of there's a every year at this time for a few days. There's a bit of a festival atmosphere. Tell you the truth, I'm not even fully sure I don't even know what the historical story. I'm sure it's in reference to a myth or an ancient tale or something, or an old tradition. It's not really, I'm not in the heart of it. It's sort of at the other end of town, but it extends partially here. I can even see it on I guess there's a parade or something with it or something. It's a major festival. The news showed 100,000 people on the streets or something. I can see it now, yeah. Okay. Let's keep going here. So let's just put that topic aside for a moment. Let's close that door for a minute on trying to figure out why the mother's not loving the baby. Okay, so meanwhile the baby's saying, "Mother, you don't seem to be loving me here. I don't want maternal deprivation syndrome. Where's your motherly spirit? Where's your motherly vibe? Where's your motherly warmth? Where's your tenderness and your sweetness and your presence? I need your consideration. I need you to think about me. I need you to see me. I need to see that you see me. I need to see that you accept me. I need your presence, your emotional presence. I need your accepting presence. I need what's called a trainment and attunement. I need to respond in a rhythm of back and forth flow like we had before in the womb utopia, in the social, interpersonal womb outer utopia version. I need a back and forth reverie. I need your presence. I need you think about me and respond. I need to pick up the signals and welcome that you have delight meeting my needs. You have pleasure being a mother for me. I want the love bond between us. I want to feel safe with you. If I'm not safe with you, then I gotta freeze up my soul, exile my soul. Pin goes on the collar, emotional body goes flat. Okay, so in ancient Greece that was called athybolexia. So one version of trauma is that in the fairy tale, the pin goes on the collar. The metaphor means that under the collar, the emotional body goes flat. So that's very sad. Now the soul, so that's considered like your soul, like the aliveness of your embodiment, your ensoulment, your embodiment, feeling really alive. Because you don't feel really alive, kind of thing. So it's just suspended, it's numbed or something, numb or something, or suspended. So in fairy tales, they would symbolize it that the soul is a princess, feminine, being feminine, moon still, so all that associations they created. The princess represent the quality of you feeling the feminine, you feeling real out the feminine beingness. So the princess would fly away, morph into a bird and fly away, locked in a tower like Rapunzel, in a coma like Snow White. Earth opens up, Miss Cora gets pulled up. So that means then there's a chasm, and you see the swoon. In the version with Miss Cora getting pulled down, there's a crack in the gap of the chasm. In the Disney film, they put the mind worker, sarcasm, anger. Sarcasm is a form of anger. Anger because your need for love wasn't met. So the anger is, mother, my need for the connection with you, so my princess can be with me. I need your connection to have my prince. I'm angry because of that. So you got the sarcasm worker in the Disney film. All anger represents the cry for love, like that. And sarcasm is a form of anger. Okay, so the baby's reaching up to connect. Mother, I want to connect here. Okay, so when that fails, his anger, the wiring is, he's crying for love. It's got to reach mother, but it's blocked. When the baby's desire for love is blocked, mother's not, and we're hurting him. So what the hell? So in that turnaround, when that twist around moment, during that twist around, the twisty thing going on, the baby's crying for love. Wait a minute, tension, fear, shame, fear, build up, fear, anger, fantasy, devouring, desperation, now the LIVE, letters crunch up, the crunched up letters, tension, crunch up, twist around, EVIL. The own LIVE, the baby's own LIVE, to live a love, the natural love line, live line, okay, crunched up, it's destructive, very conveniently, EVIL. It's destructive, but the destructiveness is the cry for love, just got perverted, it's got a twisted around thing. Now he's destructive. Now he's got fantasies. He's got to devour the breast, control the breast. He's in great desperation. Now he's like primitives, gobbling. So now he got the cannibalistic fantasy. He wants to gobble the breast, control the breast, internalize the breast, manage the breast. If he gobbles the breast, maybe control it, take it. He's got this devouring kind of fantasy. Now that's blocked as well, so it turns it in himself. Now he's got a monster of the id, an id monster. He's his own Mr. Frankenstein, creating his own Frankenstein. I just saw that this morning. Bergner was trying to, very good book. I just, before starting the video, I just took a peek at Bergner's. There's a very, hang on a second. Bergner's, yeah, here it is here. Bergner's got a book. Chapter 2, by the way, I was looking at chapter 2 here. The book is called Tension Can Be Reduced to Nuisances. Let's get the front cover here. Yeah, here's a very good by one of our mentors, Edmund Bergner. This is a paperback book called Tension Can Be Reduced to Nuisances. This is an excellent book. At one point, it was on sale for $3.95. Oh yeah, $3.95. Oh, there's the sticker on it. So we got a lot of good quotes from it. This was 1960, right? Liverlight Publishing. 1960, yeah, just before. This was one of his last books before he passed away. Right? Chapter 2. Okay. Bergner, he's got a certain kind of angle in his writing, and his mind can hold a lot of data. Like he can carry a line of thought for a long time. Like you gotta like really stay with them, kind of. Sometimes I blank out. What happened there? Huh? Okay. So sorry. Let's go back here. Okay, so the baby's has these cannibalistic, devouring fantasies of destructor. So his anger in the dream world, primary mentation, pre-linguistic, okay, pre-verbal, pre-linguistic, imaginal. So in the dream fantasies, okay, the fantasy's a monster. Okay, so he created his own Frankenstein. He created his own monsters of the id mind. Now this monster, again, is enraged and wants to gobble. This could be the guy with the horns, Wicked Queen, Cyclops, Medusas, okay, take your pick, any kind of monster like that. It's not real, it's a dream figure of the baby's rage, but it's attack on himself, you see. So he's actually, to maintain his cry for love, he's got to hate himself. Hating himself equals, mother, I want your love, hating himself. It just went in around, it detoured away like that. Okay, hopefully, what this festival includes is the water splashing thing. So you got there's a whole group of people with their water things. Hopefully they're not gonna come by here, but they can. I think it's a. I thought they just did it on the streets or something. They might not do it here. Okay, they walked past me already. So what you see on the streets is everyone's with their splashing water on people, or they have their some kind of squirting sort of squirt. They splash water or throw water, or use these toys or something. Yeah, I'll look into it in the future. I won't comment on it because I don't know the background to this, what this tradition's about. I'll look at it later. Okay, hang on. For a minute there, I thought these people were gonna do their squirting things on me with their water. I remember one year I walked by and the kids were gonna throw their water on me. They were gonna throw the water hose on me, and I gave them a look. Oh, come on, leave me alone. I don't want it. And they hesitated, and okay, I will squirt you. So if they sense, that's the tradition is, if you signal them, I wouldn't like that, they won't do it. And I think it's true. They won't splash you if they sense you wouldn't like it. So it's meant to be a playful activity. I think for the most part it is kind of in a playful spirit like that. Okay, where are we here? I gotta stop. My chair's falling apart. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's keep going. Let me fix my chair. Hold on a sec, sorry. Oh, somebody's sitting right in front of me here. Okay, I guess from now on it's just gonna start getting busier, eh? Okay, let's hurry up here. I'm gonna try to finish earlier before the major crowds come in. It's starting already, it seems. What time is it? Can I check the time? What time is it? Oh, 3:23. I see. Oh, I got such a late start. I thought it was earlier than that. Oh my God, it's 3:30 already. Okay, I'm gonna maybe finish around 4. This will be a shorter video. Let me finish up the introductory part here. Okay, so the baby's cry for live and love, okay, turn to anger. Anger is a cry for love. It's still the cry for love, but the form it takes when you add the ingredients of tension, fear, because he's gonna perish, he's afraid. But it's a cry for love, not being met, he's afraid. So you add fear to the cry for love. Okay, the tension and the stress around it, the shame and the fear, okay, and all the tension, when you build all that up, when you build it all up, the final last-ditch desperate effort on the baby's end is the anger. Anger is like the last-ditch effort. So now the baby's saying to the mother, I'm angry here. Now remember, if it's all about the mother, and she's soul blind, And she's preoccupied in a narcissistic, egocentric place that's all about her, and she's got to resolve her problem. She ignores the baby. She gaslights, you can't be angry, it's about me. Now, enter the anger character from Inside Out 2. Okay? When the anger is at its full force or whatever, it's called fury. Now you see the image of the flames popping up from anger's head. So if the baby could speak mother, you see the anger character in me? You see the little character there, anger? Notice how the flames from my anger, okay? You notice how the flames spell SOS, mother. Are you that soul blind? I'm saying SOS. I have a soul. Mother, SOS. Remember, mother's soul blind. She's soul blind. Baby saying SOS to the mother. The mother can't see it. Okay, mother cannot affirm it, cannot accept it. In fact, she attacks it, she hates it. Now what's going to happen? Okay, that's his last ditch kind of hope to get what he needs. The safe attachment. So the baby would perish without any kind of thought of some kind of attachment. So they have the thought of some kind of attachment. Since there's no time and all the energy's there, it's going to rebound in on himself. And now he's going to attack himself, demand on himself, criticize himself, hate himself, braid himself. There's the monster image. He's attacking himself. Okay? That's his way to cry for love to the mother. Covertly, obliquely, inwardly, he's crying for love onto himself. Massive pain like this. Berger's theory, okay, back to Berger here, what the baby does is, how is he going to deal with the pain? Okay, the trick is called, he's going to pleasurize it, libidinalize it. Okay, so once again, yesterday's video, check out the first part of yesterday's video. The baby's going to look for symbols of mother to trigger the womb. Remember the womb utopia bliss? He'll just trigger those happy chemicals by chasing for symbols. Dopamine chase in the future for symbol. So the pattern will be he'll go to life looking for a symbol of mother to trigger the womb utopia bliss. The happy chemicals of the womb bliss utopia will fuse him with the pain. And oh lady surprised me. Oh, she's the one who. Oh, there's a. Yeah, once in a while somebody puts some stuff out for drying or something. Okay. Usually it's the kids that kind of just startle me and run in front of me, the little kids. This time it was like a kind of I don't know, a senior, somebody in their 70s or something. Okay, let's had a bemused, looked at me in a bemused manner or something. You look funny. You look strange and funny. Gave me a half smile, a half. What are you? You look funny and different. Anyway, something new. I never saw this before. She was the older lady was a little amused by the side of me. Oh, I got something else on my side here. Hold on a sec. Oh boy, it's gonna get busier here. Oh Jesus. Some days I can handle these sudden interruptions. Some days they're too distracting. Okay, let's speed it up here. So the baby's angry, but it's a cry for love. Blocked, rebounds, and attack on himself. So he's criticizing himself. There's your unconscious conflict. He wants to be himself, but as he's trying to be himself, it's a cry for love, anger, hating himself. So self-activation, that desire to be himself, expressing a need, expressing a wish, having a feeling, being himself, is attacking himself. Now he's got to mask this over with pseudo activity to trigger the happy chemicals of the past. and the pain is libidinalized or pleasurized by this activity called psychomasochism, but he won't know it. So he'll spend his life in a defensive manner to search for symbols called oral fixations. Okay, so cookies, emotional eating, smoking, drinking, gambling, mostly money or distractions or jungle slogans, either or slogans, entitlement, my greedy, your greed. Okay, any kind of attitude that's either like the hope for a similar mother or some anger at the mother, and you have the tension release, but the pain pump's still going on. So you're doing both things. You're searching for mother, you can't accept goodness, it'll fail, you're angry, got to search, you're in this conflict like this. Okay, this takes a long time to go through. It's called psychomasochism. But the trick is the baby is in pain, but he makes it pleasurable. But to maintain this ability to make his own pain, he needs to be pained by his own anger. That's the hope for mother. He's got to hurt himself because he's got to have the hope for mother. He'd rather do this than have no mother. He'd perish without a mother. He's just trying to. He's a bit of a some people say he's like a little genius or something. He figured out a trick or something. Huge cost, of course. So he'll live the unlived life, the provisional life, kind of a miserable life or something. Now, the trick is he might not know it, because if he can sublimate in some activity that's socially acceptable, get benefits, he can cloak it further, so there'll be layers of the cake like that. Okay, so, but anyways, the search is addictive. So ATM, he searches for an ersatz self-object, symbolic mother to trigger the real mother to build up the happy chemicals, to blip up the happy chemicals over the pain he's feeling. The happy chemicals goes down because it's a triggering phenomenon, and then the pain's still there with the trauma. It's got to chase to trigger the past, chase to trigger the past, chase to trigger the past. Ancient Greece, this is called kliglos, mindless repetition, Sisyphus, Tantalus, okay, treadmill, hamster wheel, repetition, compulsion, the compulsion to repeat. He's doing this, Mark Twain's misery machine. Bergler, our mentor, calls it the rigmarole. And what disguises all this to the person is called rationalization. It says to ego, cover me, come on, ego, create some flim-flammery, create some duplicity. Throw the person a belief that functions as a straw man, a red herring, throw him a bone, distract him, make him say something to himself, because you need to know we cannot let him know he's in so much pain because he doesn't have any knowledge about it. So we're helping him out here. So make him dumb or something. Make him, just distract him. Or yeah, you could say make him dumb. Or rather, properly we should say, make him lie to himself. Make him lie to himself. Play the song "Lying to Myself" by David Cassidy. We play here sometimes. Lying to myself. Make him lie to himself, but make him believe the lie. But it's a lie. But don't let him know it's a lie. And that's the thing called rationalization. So if he's doing something dysfunctional, he'll think it's reasonable. He'll think it's a real need. So he'll think his problems are due to his dysfunction. He'll never know the major, quote-unquote, major crime of pleasurizing the pain. Because to face that issue, you need more. You need to be pretty much at midlife, and you got to build more awareness around to get to a place of acceptance where you can admit your mother failed you, and you can consent that it's pointless to be dysfunctional to change the past. So go to the Twilight Zone episode called "One Life Furnished Early Emotional Poverty," the closing narration about the bittersweet idea, and the Gabe story about grabbing the pen like that. So when you give up all hope for better childhood past and consent that trauma takes place, maybe then you can grab the pen and write your own script. So in the first half of life, the script makes us dysfunctional. In the second half of life, let's see what we can do with that script. Okay. So you want to unpick the threads of the traumatic script and use those threads to weave a healthier script, or just start making new choices like that. Okay, so this what I just said here the past 20 minutes, whatever, 30 plus minutes, is very jumbled. I'm very distracted here today, but it's been spelled out in previous videos. So let's just keep this choppy. Yeah, I feel unsatisfied with the way I presented this time around. It deserves a smooth delivery. It deserves more clarity. There's a lot of informative points in this kind of thing. So we don't know the pins in the collar. We don't know the princess Rapunzel's locked in a tower. We don't know that we're feeling unreal in our life. Okay, the dysfunction is we're repeating to get a better past. And part of the memory, quote-unquote, updating kind of idea is that we got to realize that we are in the present. In the past, we did all that to survive. But now, to keep on doing it, it's self-defeating, it's too costly, you're hurting yourself and others, it's an unlived life. It was just a temporary thing the baby did. The problem is it freezes because there's no recording in the hippocampus, there's no linear time, it's a time issue. The unconscious has no time, and trauma takes place, the circuits are laid down, and when there's pain you repeat, and there's no time, circuits, no time, pain, repeat. Okay, that means your unconscious energy is like a puppet master driving you to repeat, hoping for a better past, but there is present, but we don't know it because we're in too much pain. The pain is the driver of this thing. So we got to build our sense of ability to recognize time, restore the hippocampus, restore our conscious ego, convince ourselves that we're not in the past, convince ourselves that it's too costly. Neurosis is too expensive, somebody said, right? Neurosis, it's expensive to be neurotic, somebody said. It's too expensive. You're not living your life. You're missing the gifts and the treasures, your creativity, your happiness and love and work. You're missing all that. So it's too expensive to stay in your original survival strategy with your mother in the nursery your whole life. We got to update this kind of thing. So this is the idea that the more conscious you are, the more you can convince yourself that you're in the present. This is called building the ego, restoring the ego. I mean your conscious, adult, reasonable mind ego. Bruce Ecker has exercises like, well, juxtapose, hold in your mind that it's expensive. You don't want the symptom. Think about in your life that maybe you didn't need the symptom. Oh, hold on a second. Okay. Just kind of. It's the same. Oh, maybe it's, oh, I see. It's part of the holiday thing. She might be like she might have traveled in for the festivities or something. It's an older lady. I've never seen her before. All right. Okay, memory reconsolidation theory, Bruce Ecker. It's just an exercise just to help you build your conscious ego. If you can hold at the same time that you know that your dysfunction is created by your unconscious, because your unconscious self, your secret self, your double self, your shadow self, the one who walks with you, who's not like you, who is you. Someone's living my life and know nothing about him. Okay, your inner child of the past. Basically, what happened to you as a baby, the memories, your unconscious fantasies now, the memories, the circuits, the template, the schemata, the schema, the construct, the imprints, psychic constructs, mental constructs, personal constructs. All this wiring you laid down. Human connections lead to neural connections. Interpersonal becomes intra-psychic. You got a setup in there, a stencil, psychic stencil. So this is no time in there. You're unconscious. The baby, now we say you're unconscious, but it was the baby. When the person was a baby, it did all this to survive. Now as an adult, we say our unconscious believes we still got to survive. If it didn't do the repetition compulsion, if it didn't do the negative imaginary symbolic acting, or if it didn't do this stuff, unlived life, okay, the unconscious believes we'd perish. Now our conscious self, we consciously say, wait, hold the phone here. Just a minute, we're not in the past. This stuff is not for my survival. This stuff is hurting me. So I don't really need it anymore. Can you convince yourself of that? Can you build your ego? Can you build and convince and convince yourself that you're not in the past? Can you build this time factor, this time element, Rod Serling calls it? Okay, so he has exercises where, well, symptom deprivation exercise. Imagine spending a day without your dysfunction. And you realize how much emotion comes up. That's very informative, like that. Okay, well, do an inventory. Throughout your life, were you okay without the symptom? Were there things that happened that contradicted the old beliefs and stuff? And build on that kind of, and just keep building it and building it and building it. This is called memory reconsolidation theory. Bruce Ecker, he's sort of the lead kind of voice on this. It's an interesting model. If somebody could really polish that down, it can be a quick therapy model, because if you can really convince yourself the innate drive is for updating. It's called update. It's called healing, because there is a drive for healing. So if you support the drive for healing and you build your conscious sense, and you don't need the past. So number one, you got to identify the mourning around, oh my God, mother really failed me, and I did all that to survive an abusive mother. I created all this. I numbed my feelings because mother didn't accept my feelings. What the hell? So now you're getting into an area of grief where when you realize the truth that your mother failed big time. Now, we're not blaming her. We're trying to understand the reality. Okay, that mother didn't meet the baby's needs, weren't met because the mother was impaired, because she was stuck in the same thing. It's called intergenerational trauma, and it's been going on for 6,000, 10,000 years like that, ever since we went into plunder mode, village to pillage 10,000, do the mismanagement for discovery, separate topic, another 10-door video. So you gotta forgive the mother. Okay, play Bruce Springsteen on YouTube, Independence Day, Toronto. Okay, your mother's a person. She has a construct. She has an intrapsychic structure. She has traumatic memories. She has a wounded inner child of the past. She's in pain from her past. She's got unresolved issues. Her needs were not met. She didn't go through the developmental process properly. She had an insecure attachment style. Okay, that means she's hoping for a better past. She's in pain, doesn't know, because all the layers like that. So you got to get to a reality that's what happened. You didn't like it, but okay, I consent. It happened. Not that you consent to it, but you consent the reality that it did happen. That's a huge part of it. And you gotta recognize it's useless to repeat, hoping to change the past. So on the one side, you gotta juxtapose, he said, two in the same field of awareness, the two kind of sides like that. You're conscious, you know it's expensive and you're tired of it, you don't want it. Like, don't you want something better? Of course you do, but you know, no, I know my unconscious won't let me. My unconscious says, no, you cannot be happy. No, you'll die or something. But that's an unconscious belief created in babyhood time, where the baby would die if you didn't do all that stuff. So your dysfunction is a survival thing, and your dysfunction, your unconscious creates the dysfunction, because if it didn't do it, you would have perished. So your unconscious says, you got to do this. You got to maintain the hope with the mother. That means you're still tied to the mother, waiting to fix her, heal her, so she can love you back. Impossible. Back to the Twilight Zone. Okay, one life furnished early emotional poverty, and the other one about the pallbearer one. Those two. Okay. Regarding the one about the manic chase for the future to change the past, that one's called One Life. No, sorry, that one's called, of late I think of Cliffordville. The man manically had to chase the future to trigger the past. That means whatever he got, he couldn't enjoy. No serotonin. He couldn't love. No oxytocin. All he was dopamine to chase the womb utopia time. So he was destroying things as an addiction to manage his pain of the trauma. So in conclusion, we're greedy and destroying the planet, feel entitled and not care because you're too much pain. So we're destroying the planet out of an addiction to the chemistry of the womb utopia, but the greed to gobble a symbolic mother, trigger the past mother to get out of the pain. Okay, once again, another 10-hour video to flesh that one out, to spell that one out. What's going on with my chair? My chair keeps sliding back. Okay. Let's do the song then. Hang on. Let's go back to that song part. Okay, let me leave that very clumsy introduction for this time around. So I kind of like how these young ladies they're talking about the unconscious here. Living at home with my parents, I'm grateful and embarrassed to be 29, on a dime and on a dream. I'm a failure and a fortress. So I'm resilient, but I'm a failure, but I'm resilient. My unconscious, something inside me is at war with itself. It's not letting me be happy. That's the kind of thing we're talking about. Self-activation triggers the old fears called abandonment depression, which leads to defense. So if somebody wants to be happy, they're going to remember those old fears that you're going to die if you activate. Self-activation means you unconsciously know you can't self-activate. You can't be yourself. You can't be true to yourself. You can't even heal. You can't even know the truth because you'll be a goner. That's unconscious stuff. You got to build your consciousness and enhance this conscious strength. Oh, she's back. Hold on a second. She coming this way? Okay, hold on a second. She looks very fatigued or something, maybe sleep deprived or something. Okay, living at home with my parents, I'm grateful, embarrassed to be 29, on a dime and on a dream. I'm a failure in a fortress. My subconscious is at war with itself. And people don't like using unconscious. They keep, in pop culture, people keep saying subconscious instead of unconscious. I don't know, I think it's, okay, whatever. For me, it's unconscious. My unconscious is at war with itself. Something unknown within me. I have an unconscious inner conflict, put it that way. Getting anxious, but getting help. Yeah, both can be true. You can win and you can lose. You can face your fears and still be terrified. You can live with regret, forgive and not forget. You can know what you want, and that you'll change your mind. Oh, both can be true, both can be true. Okay, so a little self-compassion about your ambivalence, confusion. You trial and error. I want, no, I don't want. What do I want? No, I don't want. Is this right? No, I don't want that. What is it? A little self-compassion that both can be true. That you can have a wish and a fear. You have a wish and a fear. Both are true. You have a wish and you're afraid. Both are true. She says, you can face your fears and still accept them. Both is true. You can face your fears and still be terrified. So you can face your fears, so you admit you have the fears, you're aware that you have the fears, and you can feel your fears. You can do both. Both are true. Both are true. You can name your fears and feel your fears. Both are true. You can do both. You can name and feel. You can link your thought and your feeling. You can do both. Both are true. I'm amazed that a 20-year-old can think like this. Little joys and big disasters, someone's pain, someone's laughter, can be in the same room at the same time. Okay, grief, laughter, stress. Laughter is tension release, but grief is also tension release. Grief is a deeper version. When you feel very safe, you'll mourn from all the built-up tension. If it's a minor thing, you'll laugh, but if it's a deeper thing, you'll cry. Both can be true. Is that it? Oh, that's it. Oh, that's it. Oh, that's it. Oh, it's a short song. Okay, let's dig it up here. Hang on a second. Okay, let's take a little musical break here. This will probably be copyrighted, I guess. Okay, I'll see you in 3 minutes here. I'll dig up my my jasmine. No, I've got a new kind of tea. Roasted barley tea or something like that. Some kind of barley tea or some kind of a, check it later, hang on. I've been drinking oolong tea lately. Oolong, double O long, written as one word, oolong. Very good tea. It's a combination. It's described as a blend between green tea and black tea. Put it together, it's a pretty good description. Both can be true. Here we go.
Living at home with my parents, I am grateful and embarrassed to be 29 on a dime, on a dream. I'm a failure and a fortress. My subconscious is at war with itself. Getting anxious, getting patient, getting help. Yeah, both can be true. You can win and you can lose. You can face your fears and still be terrified. You can live with regret, forgive and not forget. You can know what you want and that you'll change your mind. And both can be true. Yeah, both can be true. Big disasters, someone's pain, someone's laughter can be in the same room at the same time. It's kind of funny that both can be true. You can win and you can lose. You can face your fears and still be terrified. You can live with regret, forgive and not forget. You can know what you want and that you'll change your mind. And both can be true. Yeah, both can be true. And both can be true. Yeah, both can be true. Your fears and still be terrified. You can live with regret, forgive and not forget. You can know what you want and that you'll change your mind. And both can be true. Yeah, both can be true. And both can be true. Yeah, both can be true. Living at home with my parents, I am grateful and embarrassed to be 29 on a dime, on a dream. I'm a failure and a fortress. My subconscious is at war with itself. Getting anxious, getting patient, getting help. Yeah, both can be true. You can win and you can lose. You can face your fears and still be terrified. You can live with regret, forgive and not forget. You can know what you want and that you'll change your mind. And both can be true. Yeah, both can be true. Little joys, big disasters, someone's pain, someone's laughter can be
very important phrase. Both can be true. You're unconscious. Okay, that's a part of you. You're conscious. That's a huge part of you. You don't like the symptom. That's true. You're unconscious. Another part of you wants the symptom. Both are true. Both are true. Your unconscious wants your dysfunction. Your conscious doesn't want it. So both are true, right? These are two parts of you. Your conscious self and your unconscious self. Okay, your unconscious wants something and your conscious wants something. It's kind of like both. So what do we do here about this? Well, the natural state is you don't want this kind of conflict like that. You want some kind of harmony or cooperation. So the image is, riding a horse or something. So the horse is okay with you and your body, you and your feelings, your thoughts are kind of cooperating a little bit like that. So you want to get to a place where self-activation triggers your inner resources given to you, your creativity and energy for the present. Okay, that's riding the horse idea, right? All right, let's just leave it there. Hang on. Okay, let's do this difficult topic here. Okay, so this is what now follows is part 3 of the topic on somebody who says, I've never once felt badly or any kind of regret or any kind of apology. They feel empty. His image is, I'll get to the image here. So I've spent like 5 or 6 hours on this already, so let me just jump to part 3. It'd be helpful to kind of review. Oh, there's my fan just died. What did I get? Today I got, let's see, what is it? Oh, an hour, only an hour. Well, today only gave me an hour, eh? Okay, let me use the battery here. Well, today it only gave me 1 hour. Last time I got an hour and a half. The normal person is in love with love as much as he hates hate. Not so with somebody so traumatized to the degree similar to how a baby who ends up with autism is traumatized. Like that level of trauma. Not so the psychopath. Their behavior represents the love of hate for its own sake. So they have no inner reference or inner conscience or inner feeling that guides them or anything. There's nothing there. The only thing that limits them is what society says no to them. So their slogan is, it's only wrong if you're caught. It's only wrong if somebody says no, because they don't have an inner feeling of what's wrong or all right. So they're so damaged like that. There's no role model, no positive relationship with the mother, no other people in the environment to connect with. There's no connection. So psychopaths don't connect or love. Okay, no regret like that. So their only pleasure is destructiveness, because all they have is the response from the environment. That kind of. So there's no inner creativity there's no generativity or creativity or self-expression, real self-expression, because your real self-expression is when your feelings are alive in the body. That's missing. They always say they feel empty, they feel hollow like that. The normal person is in love with love as much as he hates hate, not so the psychopath. Their behavior represents the love of hate for its own sake. Okay, this is the famous rebel without a cause. Okay, as the rebel and the psychopath acquire glamour, the social order, which depends on trust among strangers, is at risk. Okay, so it's problematic. It's problematic. The reason society has problems is because we're not aware of this. And if you're not aware, psychopaths exploit, and climb the ladder. So usually psychopaths climb the ladder You don't want psychopaths with power. It causes problems. No one trusts. There's lies all the time. You can't trust. They only live in a kind of a cold, calculated revenge on society. They only live in that kind of mode. There's no warmth or generativity. They only live with cold, calculating. Now there are different subgroups of the psychopath. You got branches or subtypes. One guy said, yes, the commonalities, no conscience, no morale, they don't care, all that stuff, but they don't look alike. You can have one psychopath that's kind of in the like the Don Juan or something, Don Quixote type or something. You can have one that's the LGBT kind of area. Not all necessarily like that, bro. You can have one that's the violent one that we see on TV all the time, like the film Gaslighting. The film Gaslight, pardon me. So all the violent, all the criminal ones we see on TV. You have the crime ones, but you can have like schizoid ones. You can have like ones who live near you don't even know. Sometimes they only notice it if there's trouble. Like so, there's hidden ones. So I haven't really clarified anybody's model of these subtypes, but there's variations of them. But this question here is so number one, they do tend to climb the ladder, but he's saying here it's a problem if that's the case, because trust amongst people you don't is broken, right? They want to break trust. Psychopaths, that there's feeling, there's connection. It triggers too much pain, so they attack it. It's just envy and attack. They can't have it. They got to attack it because it's the status of where they're at. Yeah. So they're doing others what was done to them, kind of thing. We are unable to rely on psychopaths to inform us about their feelings and states because they don't possess the basic honesty or integrity to provide us with reliable or valid information about themselves. Yeah, so when people study this stuff, you're not going to get it from them directly because they're pathological liars. They can only lie, they can only con, they can only deceive, they can only say whatever it is that needs to be said to lie. Like they can make it up on the spot. So there's no reliable feeling about wanting to heal or anything like that. There's no basic integrity, honesty here. Such persons are incapable of taking responsibility for their own actions. Yeah, they never feel any sense of responsibility for the harm they cause. They don't get it. They're cold inside, like he says here, the robot idea. Yeah, the cold coming up like the robot. One person says, if you want to imagine an approximation psychopath, just imagine a robot. Do you think a robot's gonna say, "I'm sorry, I feel badly"? It's kind of an exaggeration, but he's just trying to make the point a little bit. They're human beings, but in terms of behavior and ethics, they don't feel or care, kind of thing. Such persons are incapable of taking responsibility for their own actions and instead attribute the causes of their behavior to external events rather than such internal dispositions of themselves, being a narcissism or inability to know themselves or etc. All right. Yeah, so he says here, imagine a robot devoid of which of course are devoid of human emotions, and they're unable to relate to people on a feeling level. So no matter how ingenious the robot is, it's never going to relate to you on a personal feeling level. Never. There's no warm human body there. Remember, only animals and humans have emotions. Emotions are bodily commotions. Bodily commotion. Do you think a robot is going to have bodily commotions? Psychopaths don't even notice their feelings. Like the psychopaths, computers have been shown to be exceptionally good at feigning empathy. Oh yeah, the AI can maybe pretend. Oh, I see you. I understand. Oh, I concern. Oh, you must be very. That's very concerning. Very important what you say. They can feign it, I guess, right? Oh, the psychopath experiences no internal conflict. Our song, today's song here. I've got an inner conflict here. Psychopath, I have no conflict. They don't feel anything, so there's no conflict like that. No regret, no apology, never wrong. You're always wrong. The only thing that's wrong on my end is if someone stops you. That's their slogan. All these films, the scenario. So why do we have so many films like this? Like almost everything you watch on the TV or whatever, or the YouTube or movies, wherever you watch the movies. The scenarios of repeated psychopathic films. Okay, so there are countless non-stop barrage of psychopathic films. Maybe he says, maybe this is evidence of our need to explore this topic. We don't understand it. We can't even formulate it. We can't even identify it. We don't even know what the subtypes are. Maybe we're creating it to try to see it. That's what he says here. Okay, the Don Juan. Others view Don Juan as literature's earliest and most sharply delineated. Okay, so Don Juan is a clear-cut psychopath, as does Gordon Banks in his analysis of the character's clinical features, i.e. his guiltlessness, lack of insight and judgment, lovelessness, fearlessness, inability to form meaningful relationships, impulsiveness, and his irresponsibility, insincerity, and unreliability. Yet Don Juan doesn't care, right? Don Juan is thinking about the next. Autistics have to fake it until they make it. So maybe they can have empathy finally. So autistics maybe can develop empathy by imitating and role modeling and fake it till they make it. Maybe autistics can still learn. The psychopath can fake it, but he'll never make it, this one says here. Sullivan, famous Henry Stack Sullivan long ago. His name comes up a fair bit, eh? This guy. Sullivan quipped, if I treat like one of the schizophrenic people in the hospital, if I can train him to develop a marketing personality. Okay. If you take the schizophrenic and make him adapt to like modern culture, any modern culture that has a marketing orientation, I will have created a psychopath, he said. Cool. Sullivan quipped, quote, if I treat a schizophrenic to adapt to the American culture, I will have created the perfect psycho. All right, next one. The sociopathic patient in the hospital creates fear, hostility, and is hateful. I see. So if these shrinks in the hospital, in the psych ward, the ones that, not all of them are like this, right? A percentage of them that have this, they're the ones that create fear and hostility all over the place, something like that. Okay, so in one subtype, you've got an uncontrolled, uninhibited, aggressive, destructive behavior. In the other, you can maybe even have something, maybe the opposite, someone who's kind of like the autistic, a little bit like that, a withdrawn one. So he's got a subtype. Mr. Lippin here, he's got a subtype of kind of like an inverted version. In one, there is uncontrolled, uninhibited aggression, destructive behavior of the so-called psychopath. In the other, the reaction is the opposite. The child is withdrawn, is almost totally unable to relate in any way, either to people or to objects, the autistic one. Yeah, there's a second quote comparing the two. The trauma, the degree of trauma that leads to autism is a similar degree of trauma that leads to psychopath. Now, I'm still not clear on why they're linking it like that, but okay, the psychopath, guiltless, no guilt, no remorse, no apology. They can never admit that there's something wrong with them. They can never identify that they did something that causes the problem. What problem? I don't get it. That's their problem. Like this, they can't. Insensitive, asocial, loveless, sometimes impulsive. Okay. Okay. So one common. Okay, back to the violent one. In the violent category of the psychopath, these are the most of all the criminals out there, of course, the psychopathic criminal is the most predatory. If it's of the politicians that are psychopaths, they're the most predatory part. Same with businessmen, the most unscrupulous of businessmen, etc. All right. At times, they can be charming. Okay, so they're always conning, they're always lying, they're always calculating. They're an enigma to the medical, social sciences. Psychopath has persisted throughout history. He or she has plundered, pillaged, and so on, so on, so on. Psychopath simply doesn't care, one way or another, about the communality of human beings known as society. See, they can attach. Society means people are connecting. They can't tolerate that. It's too painful to see it. It's an envy. Community and society is envy. So they want to destroy that kind of thing. So these are the agents of chaos type of people. These are the people that want to create chaos. These are the people that want to create problems. These people who do all these covert things and create problems like that. They want to see destructive. They want to see problems all over the place. They want constant problems here and there, here and there, here. They can't see people happy. They can't see people. They're immense envy. Happy means they were loved and they had some attachment. Happy means if people are happy, that means they had some kind of connection to be happy. Huge envy. They want to see everybody unhappy. The psychopath is the one that makes everybody unhappy. They don't make themselves. They have no feeling of happy or not happy. All they do is make other people unhappy. Like in the hospital, okay. If the hospital milieu is everybody's miserable, it's the few psychopaths in that hospital ward. That's something like that. And sometimes you hear speeches to that effect. I can't see. One famous person said, "Yeah, me and my buddies who have a lot of power like this, we get really, really nervous if somebody's happy. We can't see that." It reminds me of that film, the TV series, Warehouse 13. I kind of wonder sometimes if there's like whenever there was something positive, I thought it was just like the spying and the thievery of it all or something. Then it was a metaphor for the unconscious. The warehouse was the subconscious, unconscious, and the unconscious. So the warehouse was a metaphor for somebody's unconscious and things are getting put in there. Okay, at the same time, on another level, it was like stealing goodness on the outside means the person's feelings was robbed. It went to the unconscious. When a baby had a feeling and it was robbed, it went into the unconscious or the warehouse. Okay, so you live by stealing good things on the outside, then more goes in the unconscious. When the baby feels, goes to the unconscious. Baby feels, goes to the unconscious. Repetition kapal, steal on the outside, goes to the warehouse. Goes in the outside, goes to the warehouse. So when the baby feels, it goes to his unconscious. Okay? Baby tries to feel, mother crushes it, go in the unconscious. And the unconscious gets longer and longer like that. So in the film, Warehouse 13, they had a huge warehouse. Why it got longer and longer was because they kept stealing and stealing good things on the outside. So they'd steal something good, they would steal it, tag it, bag it, and steal it. They would steal it like that. And the warehouse got longer. So it's a reflection of the personal. As above, so below. So if the baby is not allowed to feel, not allowed to have his needs, you see, then on the outer world, that will be reflected in the repetition compulsion, where you symbolically recreate, because you got to imprints lead to patterns, blueprints. Traumatic childhood imprints lead to blueprints. So the blueprint is you're repeating the imprint of the trauma, the imprint. So the repetition, the blueprint's going to be in the Warehouse 13. Something good out there, take it. Puts it in the warehouse. Okay, that's a mirror. Okay, that's a reflection of the childhood trauma. Baby had a gem, something valuable. Mother crushed it, went to the unconscious. That's the first time mentioning that show like that. So then I saw that quote recently. The guy said, "Oh yeah, we the wealthy of the most wealthiest. We can't tolerate any goodness, so we got to destroy it or something." So that's like putting it in the warehouse. So there's everything out there is bland or something. There's no life. Things aren't lively or something. So nothing. So the repetition is they feel flat and empty. So the outer is going to be flat and empty. So in the outer they want to create unhappiness and no happiness. So they don't want to see happiness because the baby can never be happy. So an unhappy baby is going to lead to an unhappy world, put it that way. The psychopath has persisted throughout history. Okay, they have done all these things. Okay, the psychopath doesn't care one way or another about the communality, what the hell? Commune, right? It's not commonality, it's communality of human beings known as society. Let's just say that. The psychopath simply doesn't care about society. All right, put it that way. Naturally, the more intelligent psychopath often recognizes social reality and takes it into account in making his calculations. Okay, so the most intellectual of the psychopaths are going to be more planning like that, but it's all cold calculation. So these are the ones that say, we're 10 steps ahead of everybody. We're planning like that. He may strive to manipulate others. He may strive to manipulate others to avoid pain, to maximize his own pleasure. But his pleasure is to make other people unhappy. Okay, that's the question mark here. All right, he can commit any action without signs of remorse or guilt. He's unfeathered by a conscience. So this is the guy that probably says, I'll do whatever I want if I can get away with it. All right? Wow, that's sick. That's moral insanity, right? That's really anti-human. That means the baby was treated in an anti-human manner. The baby wasn't wanted. If that's the case, the mother didn't want the baby, maybe hoped the baby would die but didn't die. Maybe something like that. Maybe that was the case. Maybe the mother didn't want the baby and hoped that by neglecting him and treating him badly, the baby would die and she wouldn't get caught or something, but the baby survived it. Maybe something like that. Or conscience. Okay, of course he could put on an act. So they're good. They have a very good as if. They can mimic. They can pretend to have guilt if it serves the agenda. Robert White, 1948, says, quote, "The psychopath doesn't accept blame for his conduct nor feel shame about it." So no responsibility, no shame. All right, this is from an old book, Mr. McLeod here. Those ones there. Yeah, he told his story. He made a mistake and he spent his rest of his life trying to correct that kind of thing. Okay, next one here. Okay, this one's opinion is, yes, they're pathological liars. They're great liars and all that. But this one thinks but they don't really consciously plan to lie, according to him. The statements of the psychopath are, for the most part, remarkably well adapted to the immediate interpersonal situation in which it happens to be. Back to Sullivan. This reminds me of the BPD one. In any moment they want to survive. In any moment they got to survive. So they'll say what they got to say, what they want to say, need to say to survive. And then 5 minutes later they'll say a different thing. If somebody saw, if Don Juan or Don Giovanni, variation of Don Juan, right? Don Quixote, Don Giovanni. If he went to therapy and the shrink heard of his boasts, his conquests, his one-night stands, one would inevitably think that this was a reversal in which his victims were taking the place formerly occupied by himself. We have another quote similar to that. So that ties in with the earlier quote. So as the baby boy was allured, rejected the mother. So the baby mother was seen as alluring, promising, enticing like that, rejected. He becomes her. Repetition compulsion. Treats everybody out there as him. So he'll treat all the girls as the way he was treated. He'll allure, say nice things. Women are allured like he was allured, and then reject them. Talionic feeling, talionic revenge, doing it again and again and again. So all these conquests is the repetition compulsion. He's addicted to the pain. He's addicted to the pride. He's addicted to the revenge. He's addicted to so he'll just focus on this kind of thing. So baby reached up, reject him. Reached up, reject him. Okay, he becomes the rejecter. Hey, could someone be interested in me? Reject. You're interested in me? I reject. You're interested in me? I reject. That's a Don Juan syndrome. They used to call it sexual psychopath. Now they changed the name or something. That's the other thing. The shrinks have a big debate about the names. How do we name these things? Now they stopped using that one. But for a while they were using that one. I think they should keep the schizoid psychopath. I think what that quote earlier was, I think that's true. The schizoid psychopath. The psychopath who's schizoid. So the schizoid is detached in an ivory tower, cold, calculating, behind-the-scenes revenge. And the psychopath is like a passive-aggressive bully, or spreads rumors covertly. So these are the people that secretly fund things and channel things and to do the harm out there. Remember, all he does is want to make other people unhappy. He doesn't feel happy or not happy. His compulsion is just to make other people unhappy. To make sure he's not going to be triggered of seeing happiness as part of his. He's preempting the chance of feeling envious. He doesn't want to feel envy, so do the damage like that. So he's just surviving. Right? I mean, from the babyhood place. So in other words, take a traumatized one-day-old baby who was screaming and screaming and screaming, and mother rejected him, left alone in the crib, left alone somewhere alone. Okay, let's say it happened let's take a baby who's traumatized at birth and put away in some place. And all these terrible things were done to him. Mother was never touched, never skin to skin with the mother, never even met the mother. Let's say it was like that for a week, or who knows, I don't know. Okay, poof, into an adult body, time flash. Okay, he's a grown adult with 10 PhDs. He's hyper intellectual to compensate for lack of feeling. Remember, when the fruit on the tree, one person said, if you got a fruit on the tree and a bird is flying around and he pecks at it before it's ripe, the part where the bird pecked at the speaking of birds. Jesus. Okay, the part where the bird pecked at when the bird flew around and pecked at the fruit. Maybe he was checking it out or something. I don't know. He pecked at the fruit, but the fruit was not ripe. So the fruit's damaged, right? Now around the pecked part, there'll be a hyper sweetening, a hyper premature maturing. The rest of the fruit will be bitter, but that part around where the bird pecked the fruit will be hyper sweet, hyper mature, premature growth, very quick development. So there'll be a very hyper development in that little area, but the rest will be sour, bitter, unripe, toxic, whatever. So that's analogous to the psychopath, right? So he is very damaged like that. So he's traumatized at birth, put away, nurses treated him badly. Okay, he's so damaged like that. So his intellectual is the pecking. It's compensation theory. So he's not loved. He'll hyper-develop in the other way. So he'll have 10 PhDs. He'll be hyper-intellectual, hyper-calculator or something, but without feeling. So take this character, okay, poof him into an adult body with a super advanced compensation of lack of feeling. Lack of feeling, more thinking because lack of feeling. The less you feel, the more you're going to think. In an attempt to find a way to feel, but you can't. So you think more, you can't. So there's a problem with that. That's Adler's compensation theory. Like if something's weak in one area, another area might overcompensate to balance it out or something. So you take a traumatized baby, poof him into an adult body with 10 PhDs or whatever. What's he gonna do? He never got mother's love. He's in a place of helpless fury, rage, at the mother. But now he's got motor skills. Now he's got an adult body. Now he's got an adult cortex. But the circuit is this kind of thing. The rage is going to go in on himself. So he'll attack himself. So the map in the mind is his soul is damaged and his own rage is attacking himself. Okay? He overlays this stencil onto the world and sees the world as a predator-prey, because the predator in the mind is his own anger, attacking himself. Because he didn't have motor, the baby had no motor skills. But when he's older in his body, now he's got motor skills, fitting into the wiring, he's attacking himself. So now he's got a monster of the id, like attacking himself. That's the inner predator and prey, yesterday's topic. Okay, so he overlays the outer world in the model of that. Now he doesn't want to feel the predator in him attacking himself. So he'll identify with his anger and see the world and society and everything out there as the prey, him. And do to the world what stands in for the missing mother's own rage did to him. So the mother's his own rage, he'll become that rage, and the world is him, and the repetition compulsion is going to keep on repeating. There's no feeling involved because the babies don't feel yet. I mean, they feel, but of course they feel. But we're talking about the feeling of the authentic self and the real self, what's called the psychological birth of the alignment of your embodiment to your thoughts. And like Miss Terue said, her summary of the whole thing is there's a gap between the thoughts and the feelings, that gap like that. And there's no link to it. The link to it is the guy riding the horse or the boy riding the buffalo, or those kind of images. So they don't feel their embodiment. They feel numb, they feel empty. They always talk about this kind of thing. Okay, McCord, yeah, McCord here, excellent. Oh, that last one was Russ Bridger. Okay, next one here. One might, here's somebody's image. Here's somebody's sort of ballpark, slightly poetic, or I don't know. Here's somebody's image of, if we were to create a painting that represents the dilemma of the psychopath. Maybe it might be like this, according to William Reed here. One might think of him, one might think of a person outside on a cold, snowy night. It's a cold, snowy night. There's a guy on the outside. He's looking through a window into a warm room, seeing a family, a happy family, a functional family. They're playing charades, they're playing a board game, they're sitting in a circle, clapping hands, they're singing a song. They're a happy family. Okay. And he realizes he'll never have that. One might think of a person outside on a cold, snowy night, looking through a window into a warm room, seeing a family, sensing happiness, almost able to feel the warmth, but realizing that he can never be inside. So that's the dilemma of him, right? He wouldn't accept it. Like he would wreck it, right? So since he can never have it, he would wreck it. Something like that. Is that it? Okay, the remarkable glibness of the psychopath who can, quote, chat up. Okay, play the song The Rapper by a band called Santers. We played a live version of it called The Rapper. Rick Santers, lead singer. It's about this. He's the rapper. This glib, talking character. It's about a Don Juan who can chat up any girl. The song says, "Watch out, ladies, watch out. He's a rapper. He'll say these things, and he'll throw you away. He's a rapper." The remarkable glibness of the psychopath who can chat up with insincere compliments a woman he is hoping to con and victimize with no compunction than if he were purchasing a newspaper at a kiosk. So the bland routine. Okay, I'll buy one of those. Yeah, thanks. Here's your quarter. Whatever. The bland routine of that. Oh, lady, I'll do this. Say this. Do it next. Something like that. While neurotics, defensively or for reasons of hostility. Oh, while neurotics lie. Okay, when neurotics lie, there's more of a defensive quality to it. Hostility, compensation. But when the psychopath lies, it's to make some kind of profit or to avoid physical punishment or to avoid some kind of punishment or to get out of a jam. So neurotics are more emotional. Psychopaths are more just cold calculating. All right. Psychopath takes apparent delight in exploiting others. Yeah, we know that. All right. So shatterfooted. Psychopathy represents the most expensive and most destructive of all forms of deviant behavior. Okay, this quote's from the guy who wrote the book Rebel Without a Cause, James Dean, the famous film. Psychopathy represents the most expensive and most destructive of all forms of deviant behavior. Robert Linder, Rebel Without a Cause, 44. While the compulsive neurotic causes annoyance, psychopath is more dangerous. It's dangerous. For example, one patient I had, says the shrink here. So one shrink said he had a patient whose job it was to test drinking water. To test drinking water. He saved himself a lot of work by inventing the figures instead of making the chemical and bacterial analysis. So he's dangerous. Only the psychopath to do that, right? Who cares? Let them all get sick, right? So one psychopath had the job as a water inspector. But remember, he has the unconscious agenda to attack society, right? By the way, don't expect psychoanalysis to help the psychopath. Psychoanalysis was invented for the neurotic. Psychoanalysis is a method of treatment for regular people. Psychoanalysis doesn't work for the psychopath. Although there is one quote from a shrink who said that there has been some success by shrinks treating psychopaths. I haven't looked that up yet. That's 2 videos ago. Okay, in conclusion, I tried to end up on the most positive note as I can find here. It's hard to find a positive quote here. But Mr. Stein says here, you know, we can think of it this way. Psychopaths have much to teach us. They have much to teach us about the range of human adaptation to titanic threats. So you can see the ingenuity of babies who have to survive titanic threats, right? Interesting he says Titanic because we have one song about that. I only have one song about this major Titanic event. Should we play it? Yeah. Come to think of it, that might be come to think of it, that might be a song for our topic on the psychopath. Let me dig it up here. This is our only AI song in our collection. We only have only one AI song in our collection. I chose it not for the music. It's for the lyrics. And it describes well, hang on. The song "Call It Fill in the Blank" by the folk singer Bruce Cockburn. Okay. The live hand drum version of "Stolen Land" by Bruce Cockburn. Also, those two are we can include those ones as well. But we have one called the famous creature from Jekyll Island. Where is it? The Creature from Jekyll Island, the famous story about so one theory is the people plundering the planet always want to pit people against themselves, right? So you want to pit people against themselves because you want to damage others, to control others, because you don't want to see goodness and happiness out there. So the way to do this, the psychopathic thing we're talking about, is we'll pit people against each other, spread rumors, create, and then make people hate each other, and then make people conflict with each other. So this activity, so one example of this was this famous handing over the entire wealth of to that agent, to that what's his name, the guy with the beard, the pointy beard. So there's the famous, because he's considered a bit of a villain in world history, the pointy beard guy. So apparently him and his colleagues went to oh boy, I don't really talk about outer events or historical kind of events like that too much, but here it is here, The Creature from Jekyll Island. So like the topic about the psychopath, they don't want happiness out there. They want poverty and misery. So they plunder places, destroy places, have conflicts amongst people, just keep people down, keep people miserable, and keep people sad. Don't let them develop. Don't let them have autonomy. Don't let them enjoy anything. Don't let them grow. Don't let them learn. Don't just hoard on your end and hurt them. So you got a clique like that. And we've been in this model for 6,000 years, apparently. So maybe that's why we're cranking out non-stop, like as fast as possible. Films about psychopaths that get clunk. We're cranking them out non-stop. Maybe there's some kind of push. We gotta face this, understand this. Why are you interested? Why are you watching this? Why is he like that? Why are these people like that? Why are you interested in that? What is your appeal to? Like why are we creating this? Why are you watching this? Like cranking out non-stop 24/7 all these psychopathic character films, right? The film Gaslight, right? And all these other ones. It's just non-stop. Everything it watches, pretty much everything it watches like that, right? So maybe this is some unconscious effort on, like the quote said, we gotta identify it, categorize it, formulate it. He said formulate it, like understand it, because that's what's destroying the planet like that. Those characters climb up and destroy like that. For example, the famous Creature Island, Jekyll Island story. So the Jekyll Island story, everybody heard it already, right? It was to pit countries against themselves. So once that Jekyll Island event took place, apparently the Titanic story was involved in it. It's a theory, don't know for sure. Apparently there's a link between the Titanic story and the Jekyll Island story. I don't know, not too knowledgeable about that. But it does kind of fit, right? After that Jekyll Island event that took place, we had all these things. Hundreds of millions of people murdered and died. So that a handful of people that gravitate to that corner can perpetuate misery and unhappiness, because that's what they do for its own sake. It's just an unconscious, numb survival. They don't even know they're doing it. So maybe this cranking out of these Hollywood films is an attempt to, like an art form almost. So why is it going on? Don't just mindly, don't accept it. Don't be brainwashed and think it's galore. Talk about it, like analyze it. something people don't want to do. You ask somebody, you watch a film, you ask your friends, people saw the film with or something, what do you think? Why do you think he did that? Or what do you think? What kind of mother do you think he had that would trait that? Oh my God, they run as fast as possible. I gotta go. What a panic! Did you notice the panic you feel when I ask that question? You know, I gotta go. I can't talk about it. It's amazing. People cannot have such a hard time just trying to investigate. And so we keep cranking out the films. Come on, investigate. No, I can't. But you watch it. Why are you watching them? Oh, excuse. So in the unconscious is a predator and prey, right? So in the unconscious is like yesterday's quote, predator, prey in the mind. So you see that on the film as a reflection of the inner state. We're trying to know our inner state. We create on the outer to know the inner. These are our fantasies with them. Know yourself means know your fantasies. The fantasies are your experiences that you don't remember. So we got to formulate it. That's considered digesting, assimilating, getting it into your story. That means it's accepted. Goes laid to rest. It can be in the present, live and love in the present, be creative in the present, versus this mindless repetition. Okay, so let's play the song here. Yeah, okay, let me experiment with this song as one of our songs for the topic on the psychopath. Yeah, so the guy, who is it? The guy with the pointy beard. Very villainous. Looks like a cartoon villain, this guy. He's considered one of the most greatest villains of all time. I don't know if the pointy beard guy is he even dresses like the motif, right? He even kind of thinks in those kind of terms, right? He's identified with the images unconscious. And the world will be him. And he'll be his angry self. So his psychic structures onto the world. And without self-awareness, psychopaths climb to the top and things get worse. So we keep cranking out psychopathic films. Come on, beware. So it looks like we're going to keep on cranking out these films until the situation is solved, maybe. When people are healed, they won't be interested in that. I don't want to watch that. That's silly. What's that for? I want creative generativity and beauty and art and new things, and I want positive things. Yeah. So maybe the fact that these films are being cranked out all the time, and you watch a TV series, the season 1 might be a little violent, but you can knowingly put up with it. Season 2, and then each season later it gets worse and worse. I usually can't watch the final season, the final seasons of the series. I couldn't. That's often the case. I give up after like the second season. Oh, this is just gonna get worse and worse. Oh no, it's a different. Okay, here's an AI song. Our one and only AI song on our soundtrack. Yeah, Creature. So this is the famous clique, okay, that everyone's gonna report to or something. So there won't be an autonomy. Notice how, despite these psychopaths destroying the planet, there's still little kind of efforts to have good things in place. Like there's still always these positive things still trying to take place, but they got psychopaths attacking it. Okay, that's the Warehouse 13. Bing, attacker. Watch the series Warehouse 13. It's kind of like that. Something. I think the metaphor, something good is happening. Bing, they went to take it. Something like that. So there's good things out there and they're rushing to take it. So that's like pillaging and plundering. So this is one major creation of this plundering mechanism. Yeah, by the way, like yesterday's last quote, the documentary, the corporation is a psychopath because the corporation has no body. Remember, to feel, you need a body. Only humans and animals can feel. Okay, commotions or energy, bodily commotions, bodily energy, emotion, okay, only body. You need a body to have an emotion. If you say some invisible thing, it doesn't have an emotion. A robot doesn't have an emotion. Okay, I made up a word on a piece of paper, doesn't have an emotion. Now you have administrators of it. Those are the psychopaths. And the psychopath says, well, let's give the corporation the freedom to do what it wants, like a person, but never responsible. Remember, the corporation's never responsible, right? It has immunity. That's the parallel psychopathic mentality. I'm not responsible. It's not my fault, but I'm a person that can do what I want. The corporation is a psychopath. That documentary, spot on. The corporation is a psychopath, or has a psychopath, because it's got no body. That seems to be the kind of like the format of plundering the planet. And whenever something good does appear, if it's not destroyed before it's there, it'll be co-opted and used for the bad, right? It'll be used against people. So this is the dilemma where somebody invents something good, and if there's jealousy, envy, don't invent, don't let it happen. But if it happened, well, we'll steal it, and you'll use it, we'll co-opt it. So either it's destroyed or co-opted, kind of thing. So there's this constant situation where the reliving is the baby's trying to feel, it's trying to live, it's being crushed. It's just the whole tone, the whole theme of the relationship between the baby and the mother is mother's rejection. Identify with the rejector. On the planet, it's you. Reject everything out there. Reject society because you're rejecting yourself. Mother rejected you. You're her. Society's you. You reject society because mother rejected you. And you become her, and you project you onto society. Repetition compulsion. So in the repetition compulsion, benignly you play yourself and coax others to reject you. More perversely, you identify with the aggressor. Others are you, and you reject them. Because the symbiosis, it's fused, and self and other are fused. The more trauma, the more it's going to cross over. If the child had some hope to be himself, he'll just play himself and just find others to reject him. He doesn't reject others, he just coaxes others to reject him. But the more pained ones will cross over in the Faustian deal, Faustian bargain, Faustian pact, identification with the aggressor. Depends on where on the development takes place. The earlier it takes place, at the more autistic level, at the first few days like that. If the crossover takes place in the autism realm area, in the autistic mind, the first weeks or something, that'll be the psychopath. If it doesn't cross over, but he's frozen there, maybe he's not just simply the autistic one. If trauma takes place later on, there might still be some kind of feelings about things. Oh, son of a gun, I just acted like my parent. Oh my God, so you still feel about it, you can correct your ways kind of thing. So it depends on when the crossover takes place. Faustian deal, Faustian bargain, Faustian pact, identification with the aggressor. Sandra Ferenci's phrase. It's funny about being a little under the weather. I tend to just be lazier and just linger on for a while. Last time I was here, I was over 3 hours. Today it's 2 hours. Today's different. Today's 2 hours, but it feels like 6 hours. Okay, let's take another musical break here. Okay, so this is an AI song by some who's ever behind. Well, the AI creators, the AI music creators, call themselves the Shocking Truth. So this is, you can't say it's the band, right? It's the AI, it's the digital creators. God, I'm not sure what to call it. Okay, the creature from Jekyll Island.
On a winter night where the shadows collide, a secret was forged where the truth tried to hide. A mansion on an island far from the shore.
apparently it's a tourist attraction now. You can visit this island as a tourist to see the place where the deal was struck, where this KKK character, one of the most racist characters, Mr. Wilson there, was put in to sign the paper. All right, we're gonna let all of the decisions and money and all that hand it over to this to the guy with the beard, basically. We're gonna give it to the guy with the beard. Okay, everybody. And because of that, entered all the problems, to say the least. Because at that point, countries around the world were starting to develop a little bit, right? No, we don't want that. No, and they cannot have development. Gotta keep people down. Keep people down. So the creature of Jekyll Island was the arrangement to hand over the finances to the guy with the beard, Mr. You know who. Or maybe you don't know who. I didn't know. I didn't know for the longest time. I didn't know who was really sort of the architect of this kind of stuff. It seems convincing that this guy with the beard, the pointy, long, thin, pointy beard, you might as well just put the horns on him or something. He looks kind of like, I think he's trying to make himself look like that or something. He's trying to make himself look like that. So it scares people. Whenever you're scared, whenever you're shocked or scared by somebody, if somebody shocks you or scares you, it triggers the baby's collusion with the mother. Babies must go along with the mother, agree with the mother. If you can trigger that wiring, you collude with the person who shocks you. Right? So mother shocks the baby. Yes, mother. Yes, whatever you want. Baby must get along with the mother. So if somebody later on does that, you tend to collude. Right? That's the wire. You're tapping into the wiring. Again, people transfer the wiring, live by the wiring, and the template wiring is overlaid in the present. You follow and act out the wiring, so you transfer the wiring to the present. So the present is seen as the past, and the present is going to be attributed like the past. The present is going to give it all the values of the past like that. Unnecessary. I think shrinks. I think we gotta have more training on so-called self-awareness, trauma studies. I think everybody in high school should be a therapist. Everybody in high school should be basically a self-therapist of some kind, a self-analyst. Everybody should be able to know psychoanalysis upon graduation. The comic psychoanalysis should be part of the high school curriculum. I think everybody should study psychoanalysis, psychotherapy, self-awareness. It's a both-and perspective. It's both sides can be, back to our song, both sides can be true kind of thing. So you got to get out of either or. You got to get out of jungleism mentality. Jungleism mentality, okay, that's the trauma that the baby was a prey or slave, so to speak. Okay, his anger, attack on himself, makes him the anger attacks him as the predator, master, attack, and aggressor like that. That's what's in your mind. Predator, prey, master, slave, that stuff like that. Victim, persecutor, one up, one down. Okay, this huge imbalance, this sadomasochistic setup, and you're gonna see the world like that, overlay that onto the world, and see the world with your fantasies, unconscious fantasies, onto the world, project onto the world what's there, like it's like a map. You see the world through the lens. Bowlby's take on repetition compulsions. You keep seeing everything through this. Every day you see it through the past. Every day you see the present through the past. Next day, same thing. Next day, same thing. Okay, Sisyphus, Tantalus wheel, repetition, compulsion, Kleglos, mindless repetition, Kleglos. You're seen every day to that same stubborn, fixed thing. This construct you create needs to be updated. When there's too much pain, you're stuck there. So you got to build your ability to process, admit the truth. See, if you can admit the truth, then you can get out of the past. You could be in the present. If you can't admit the truth, you're still in the past. So you got to admit the truth. I wonder if they have others. I think they have one other. Yeah, I'll check it out later. Not a bad song. What's called? Oh, the album is called Anthems of the Unknown. Yeah, it's got a cynicism, this anger, right? So the question remains: how would so one theory is focus on development and sharing, open knowledge and sharing like that. But if people are traumatized, the psychopaths are gonna always like take over and things and do these things and fool people, right? So how do you so we don't even know how to identify this kind of. Well, you know, the meritocracy makes sense if based on moral, ethical merit. That's what you want at the top, right? Some places do that, right? Some places it's the opposite. No, the psychopaths have to climb the top. The slogan is, the famous slogan, right? Greed is good, right? Destroying the planet's good? What the hell? Well, because if we drop our guard and someone creates something, we can steal it. See, isn't that good? It's cynical. It's all cynical stuff, right? Oh, what up? Yeah, the new drink I found today is called Hoj. It's roasted green tea. That's something new for me. I never really saw this before. Apparently, it's been around for thousands of years. Eh? So, what's it called again? Hoja cha. Hoji. Oh, pardon me. Hoji cha. Hoji cha. Roasted green tea. The first time trying it here, yeah. I don't want to show the brand name. Maybe it's a copyright or something. Anyways, H-O-J-I, it's spelled here. Cha. Cha means tea. Cha. Oolong cha. Roasted green tea. Yeah, look at that. It's green tea, but it's roasted. Eh? It's pretty good. The key is my advice is don't buy any of these ready-made, ready-to-drink cold green teas if there's sugar in it. Once they put sugar in it, it's wrecked. Personally, you got to get unsweetened. Personally. Okay. Things are cooling up here a bit. How are we doing here? Oh, what's the time? I can't see it. Oh, yes. Okay, well, let me use the other phone. Oh, 503. Oh, 503. Yeah, luckily, there's a bit of a breeze here. Okay, that was, so what we did today was a preview of 3254. Some miscellaneous quotes. I'll admit, this batch isn't as convincing as the last one. The last batch, that was a great batch of quotes on the psychopath. This one here feels a little weaker, just more general. Is there a highlight here? Let's see. robot one. Think of them like a robot. They feel the way like a robot feels. Okay, I think maybe this thing about the films, the scenarios of repeated psychopath films, evidence, and epochs need to explore and experience that as yet has not been adequately formulated and thematized. We haven't adequately formulated, understood, categorized, even made it as a theme even. We're not really properly identifying this dilemma. Is it simply just the most severe, extreme form of narcissism? Is it the same as bullyism? Like, we haven't really identified this. Is it a distinct, separate category from bullyism? Again, like the bully pattern, antisocial, or narcissism. Is it in the category of the autistic world? But the baby identified with the aggressor and treats others the way they have been treated, because they feel kind of detached, like the autistic kid. Like the autistic kid is just, now psychopaths are not psychotic. They don't have psychotic breaks, right? They don't, like delusion, all that, right? Like psychotics have a mask of sanity, right? I mean, psychopaths have the masks. So I didn't include the quotes. Some of these quotes say, yeah, there's some overlap between a psychosis and a psychotic. Doesn't make sense. Other people say that doesn't make sense. You don't. They don't do that. Even they don't. It's a different thing. Let me take a peek at yesterday's one. 32, 53, right? 53. What was it? 2. Oh, 2. Oh no, 2. Oh, sorry. 52. Go to I think the best quotes are here. 32. Affective lack. Okay, Mr. Cheekley wrote a famous book about it. Checkley or Cheekley. Okay, they're not affected. So lack of empathy. They know the words, but not the music. One way of saying it. Okay, they don't attach. So there's no attachment, emotional attachment. Their only sense of attachment is destroying other things. Used to be called moral insanity. Okay, a debate about the terms. Where are the good ones? Hang on. There's some good ones in here. Hang on. Okay, one shrink said, when I look into his eyes, I get a very eerie feeling. His eyes are cold, empty, vacant, absent of feeling. Ugh. It's been said that the psychopath has no guilt feelings, no conscience. The potentialities of a conscience have never been internalized, and what remains is only a fear of external punishment. Yeah, that's a key one. There's no inner feelings to tell them what's right or wrong. There's nothing like that. The only thing they're afraid of is being caught by the external world. A regular person can derive pleasure from life, and a psychopath, his only sense of quote-unquote pleasure is successfully circumventing the same moral code. Okay, the one about the statistics. See, here's a good example of this. No one even knows the stats on this area. Is it much more than we realize? By what criteria do we label someone that? The labels are never helpful. How do we describe it? Yeah, the transference of the psychopath is the projection of the internal predator and prey. That's a key one, I think. They seem to think like that, right? One of the slogans of the pillage system is, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. Predator play. It's an oral fix. It's an oral rage. The oral phase is the survival phase. All this baby's taking in, receiving. My greedy. Another slogan of the plunder system: my greedy, your greed. Now, I don't know why people with the shade of beige tone of skin have more trauma, but their slogan is, well, if we the most traumatized who then happen to have a shade of beige tone of skin, they just simply say, well, we have a shade of beige tone of skin, so it belongs to us with a shade of beige. So there's your Mr. Wilson, the KKK guy, right? I didn't know that about him, right? He's Mr. Wilson. He promoted racism. Whatever progress was done, he undid it for those years, right? And he was the selected president to hand over to the guy with the whiskers under his chin. He must have been hypnotized by this character, right? This devilish-looking guy. He looks like a villain in a film, this character. I swear to God, when I saw his picture, it looked just like something from a film. Oh my God, I recognize that image. I can't quite make it out which film that's from, but I saw it on a film. It looks just like that guy. Yeah, so one indigenous lady with a shade of brown tone of skin, could you please stop saying that because you have a shade of beige tone of skin, that everything belongs to you? If that person, it's as if that person's saying, look, my only sense of myself, my only association of myself is the color of milk. And my skin tone more resembles the color of milk than your skin tone. What the hell are you talking about? You're psychotic. What's that got to do with anything? Because in the unconscious, milk, breast, and mother, food, milk is white. So, oh, we're white. You're not white. You're not white. You're a human being with a shade of beige tone of skin. I'm a human being with a shade of brown tone of skin. Nobody has white skin. And nobody has black skin. Nobody's white or black. Forget this nonsense. Well, the language is twisted. No, I'm white, you're black. What the oh my God. We're a human being with okay, a quantity of melanin produced by a gland. Now in trauma, that gland can get damaged, or another theory is how much exposure over time with the sun affecting the output of melanin chemical by the gland. That's just a trivial cosmetic thing. Okay, how much melanin is produced based on how much sun or trauma there is. It doesn't change billions of years of evolution that we're one family, one earth family, human family, okay, one planet, one Homo sapien. We're all Homo sapien. One family, earth family, human family. These are just trivial biological variations over time like that. But with trauma, you don't think of those terms. In trauma, you're in greed mode. That's the slogan. Greed is good. That's because you're in trauma mode. You got repeating mode. So greed is the survival of it's a survival mentality. We don't need to be in a survival mentality. We're human beings. We invent things, we're creative, right? We cooperate. Our natural state of affairs is Freud and Freud, pleasure and play and creativity. Like even today, most of the people are trying to have a little playful tension release or something. Jane Elliott says we're all technically cousins, 30 to 50 times removed on average, but we're still cousins. We're all from that massive family in the northeast of the Congo area when we first evolved up 200,000 years ago. Then we spread around, kind of thing. But while we were settled in different places, okay, then yes, of course, even in one lifetime, Jane Elliott said, even in her lifetime, she can see changes in the skin tone based on diet. She said her kids had skin variations based on the diet. The family owned a store, and they had a surplus of oranges. And every night, she and her husband would bring home bags of oranges to the kids, and they would just gobble up all these oranges every day. And she said over several years, the kids were having the chemical in the orange affect them. So look at that, just within a lifetime, you can have a variation based on the chemical, the food or something. So imagine 200,000 years of that kind of thing. And of course it's going to be superficial skin tone or, milk, bone structure, diet. Okay. Now the Great Spirit likes variety, so everyone's a little unique like that. Okay. So there's a natural variety of bony, plumpy, thin, wide, body types. Okay, and then some kind of temperamental constitutions. But the temperament and body type don't affect your personality. They can add to it if it can add to it maybe, but they don't create it. Your personality is affected by nurture. So you can have a mesomorph with a lot of high energy, whatever. Let's say the choleric, or how does it go again? You can have somebody's temperament with a lot of more energized or something, and have a wide build of mesomorph. Doesn't mean they're going to be a violent bully. Doesn't mean they're going to be a bully. You can have stocky characters who are caring and loving and kind. They make the best nurses, somebody said. Okay. The plumpy ones, they don't have to be friendly. They can be psychopaths too. The skinny ones can be psychopaths. There's nothing to do with that. Now the combination is that if you do have a mesomorph who becomes a psychopath in a psychology, he's got the extra energy for that. So a lot of people who plunder the planet, or a lot of agents of plundering, or whatever, might be in that category. It doesn't have to be that way. So the old stereotype was people try to classify people's personality based on their constitutions and temperaments and things like that. Clara Thompson spells it out. No, nothing to do with that. All you're seeing is maybe like a little add-on factor, a micro add-on factor. It's nurture creates it. Your relationship, human connections lead to neural connections. Human connections lead to neural connections. Doesn't matter what you were given, wide build, plumpy build, thin build, or combination of factors. Okay, and whatever this temperament stuff's about. Leaning a little bit there, leaning a little bit there. Its nurture is going to affect. Are you pathological pleaser? Are you pathological moving away from people, against people, or sneak around covert, passive aggressive bullying? Nurture is going to create Iago and psycho. Nurture is going to create psychopaths. If there's trauma in the baby, somebody said. Now, I'm not a doctor, I don't know this exactly how it works, but if there's trauma in the baby, the stress can affect the brain to bladder link. So somebody said they interviewed all these psychopaths, and a lot of them, a very high percentage of them, had neuresis. Said children who were bedwetters, not just situational, not just temporary because of divorce or stress or move or something. Persistent bedwetting because this shock, this trauma, and the brain can't regulate. So you're in survival, so the digestion is not gonna, it takes back seat or something, so you're sleeping, it doesn't. So one quote says that somebody did a survey of those psychopaths, and a very high percentage of them were bedwetters, he said. That was an older quote, not a doctor, disclaimer. Where was that? Should we dig it up? 52, 53. What's it, 51? Oh, 51. Oh, it's 48. Okay, go to 48, 32, 48. The only question which engages our attention is, what particular type or variety of psychopathic personality does this client represent? A psychopathic personality who can twist situations and people to meet his own needs. So whatever charm routine or whatever lie he's given you, it's a calculation to meet his needs. They cannot not be a con man. Psychopaths cannot stop being a con person. Okay, emptiness, deadness of inner life, denied emotions, inability to express tenderness, warmth, nurturance. They use people's feelings to exploit, etc. Somebody calls it callous, unemotional traits. Lack of empathy, lack of guilt, lack of remorse, lack of concern about other people's feelings. Okay, see these two guys here. Oh, one sub-branch of the psychopath is the cold-blooded rage one. Jesus Christ, that's got to be the schizoid. Mr. Bion said, in a lot of these plunder system things, you got schizoid psychopaths climb the ladder. They're the behind the scenes, like the guy with the beard kind of thing. And they spread rumors around like that, like Iago, passive aggressively. So there's a put it this way, a passive aggressive psychopath versus like the overt crime psychopath. You got a covert psychopath. There's got to be a way to classify these subtypes, eh? Oh, here it is. Parallels between persistent neuresis and delinquency in the psychopathic personality. Failures in early attachment and bonding lead to psychopathic and autistic. That's Mr. Bowlby. Oh, here it is here. The swindler's favorite dictum that there is larceny in everyone's heart is not far from the truth. To what extent such impulses do or do not break through into action depends, of course, upon development of conscience. Okay, was there a connection with the mother? Was there a warm relationship? You're going to get a conscience by that. Was there ethical training, role models? Maybe that's why there was a focus on the mental hygiene films and all those hygiene. It was meant to be ethical training. So we have a list of films called the top 25 mental hygiene films from the 50s, 60s, 70s. The most recent one was what's it called again? A son of a gun. Just Emotion, simply Emotion, by Mr. Adler, Mortimer Adler, the most recent one. And another one called Searchlights on Delinquency. I forgot which episode. One of the ones What are the episodes from Searchlights from Delinquency? And what are the episodes from the Mortimer Adler series? Called the one called Emotion. Those are two recent ones. The development of an adequate sense of reality, life experiences, emotional immaturity. Bromberg emphasizes is closely related to crime, not only in youthful offenders, but in psychopathic personalities of all ages, as an arrest or deviation in development. Oh, here it is, here. This one here. Exploring why toxic leaders are so common. In one recent review of 92 independent samples, found a positive correlation between psychopathic personality characteristics and leadership emergence. Okay, see Land Day, 2019. That one, page 183. I haven't found that one yet. Fixing the many leadership crises besetting modern societies requires more attention to why people rise to positions of power. So of course the guy with the beard is going to pick Mr. Wilson, right? If he's a hardcore racist like that, obviously he's a psychopath. Fixing. So why? Okay, so he says you study this. So back to what about the cranking out of the films? Study it, study it. We're creating all these films. You know, to tell you the truth, now that I've done my part 3 here, I feel like this collection, 1001, Windmills, I feel like it's a little more balanced. I feel like these quotes are kind of on the extreme end. They're kind of balanced. I feel more inclusive here. I feel like topics that haven't been discussed all along are starting to be discussed, like the LGBT recently. Okay, Miss Kaplan's book. Okay, and these ones here. If power is to be used for good, good people need to know and willingly use the tools of power, even if possibly, particularly if such tactics are used by the opposite. Okay, so yeah, here's the provocative question. At what point we speak about the psychopathic personality when the individual comes in conflict with the outer world by its character. Many patients with psychopathic personality disorder are aware of their deep and long-lasting desire for revenge. Oh, I see. So many psychopathic personalities admit and they are aware of their desire for revenge, cold revenge on society. The season 1, episode 1 of Judd for the Defense. That guy's a good example of a psychopath. I remember that one. And even Judd, played by the actor Carl Betts. Yeah, you're doing all these psychopathic crimes. You're a psychopathic violent criminal, sadist and all that, because you have revenge on society because you want to show up and your mother and your father by showing up society, saying society's bad, saying you want to say your parents are bad. Your parents failed you, society failed you. You make society ridiculous, make society stupid, show up society as a failure because your parents are a failure. You're transferring revenge onto your parents that they failed, and you want to say society failed by committing these crimes and wanting to get away with it. So this psychopath almost got away with his crimes by using the double jeopardy technique or something. But Judd for the Defense used psychoanalysis. It didn't work in the end, so he got caught in the end. So a crime episode about catching a psychopath was Judd for the Defense. A great theme song with the drums, boom boom. Season 1, episode 1. Disturbing episode Okay. Yeah, one subheading. Alcoholism is listed frequently as a subheading of the psychopathic personality in many classificatory schemes. That's not to say all boozers are psychopaths, but there is in the psychopathic world, one branch of it's heavily dominated by alcoholics. So maybe on a statistical thing, so if somebody is a hardcore alcoholic, statistically speaking, he's closer to maybe being in that area, let's say. According to Mr. Rosenman. Okay, a famous book on the topic is called The Psychopathic Mind by Mr. Malloy. One person critiqued his book, saying it's too vague, it's too general. But I think he's got some good points here. Okay, one subcategory or one sub-branch is the aggressive narcissist. Okay, the predatory one, another sub-branch. Oh, sorry, quote, predatory aggression is the hallmark of the psychopathic individual, whether it is a primitive act of violence against or a technically sophisticated act of revenge against the business associate. Okay, subgroups of psychopathic personality. The chronic alcoholics, the addicts, okay, the perverts, the LGBT area. So the shrinks, okay, we talked about that last time. So very, like the alcoholic, a very high percentage. If somebody is in the LGBT kind of area, on a statistical point of view, maybe they're, how do I go again? I'll put it this way. Some LGBT people are psychopathic. Put it that way, right? Fair enough. Some alcoholics are psychopathic. Some LGBT characters are psychopath. Put it that way. Maybe that's the safest. In the DSM-1, 1952, the LGBT was considered psychopath. It was put in there. Later on, they called it paraphilia, deviant attraction, in the DSM-3. But Hippocrates said it's a disease. Hippocrates back then. Okay, one guy says, no, you guys are making it too complicated. It's simply the most extreme, most severe point on the continuum of narcissism. It's a variant of the narcissistic personality organization. Oh, the battery. Oh, Jesus. Oh, sorry. Let me get the. I have to. If the battery runs out, I lose the video. I've lost numerous videos because it's the battery now. Oh, 70%. Okay, I'm gonna leave. Okay, I feel like I thought this part 3 would have been just as interesting. Turns out to be not so much so. So go to 3248 53 and 54. 52. Oh, and 52 a little bit. Okay, the quotes are spread out. They're kind of spread out between 48 and 54. I was thinking about reading some of that burglar book, but maybe when I'm a little more refreshed. It doesn't read out on the phone too well. I wanted to read out Burglar's chapter 2 here. It doesn't work too well.
The so-called sophisticated set believes it can prove its sophistication by making fun of conscience. These rather silly contemporaries call conscience a cross between an outdated, outmoded, outdistanced fairy tale invented by theologians and a club used to threaten children. Those in the know are above such ignorant nonsense.
Oh, then it stops.
The story is ignorant nonsense, yes, but both the nonsense and the ignorance lie exclusively in the pronounce, meant of the pseudo-educated. Brander Matthews once remarked, "A highbrow is a person educated beyond his intelligence." Why is it ignorant nonsense to negate the existence of conscience? To begin with, those who dispute the existence of science do not even know what they are disputing. When they hear the word conscience, they assume the illusion is to conscious conscience. Conscious conscience is a set of reasonable rules, guaranteeing conduct in accordance with cultural standards. These rules are communicated to the child by his parents. Under normal circumstances, the child identifies with the parents and in this way accepts their rules and their standards. No reasonable person objects to these regulations. If murder, rape, incest, theft, cheating, adultery, etc. were not outlawed, community living would disintegrate. As Benjamin Franklin put it, sin is not hurtful because it is forbidden, but it is forbidden because it is hurtful. Poor Richard's Almanac, 1739. A favorite argument of the sophisticates is that people often fail to conform to these rules and get away with it. The observation is correct. People do violate conventions, break laws, behave unethically. But the conclusion, they get away with it, contains a fallacy based on ignorance of the fact that there exists a second and decisive regulator, the inner conscience. In neurotic, psychopathic, and criminogenic personalities, inner conscience operates AC, according to the principle, give him enough rope to hang himself. In other words, transgressions against the moral code are permitted to these sick people for the purpose of greater self-damage. A man who commits a crime appeases his inner conscience by inwardly bargaining for substantial punishment, which will take the form of depression, guilt, social disgrace, prison, or even the electric chair. Consciously, of course, he is unaware of the damage, ing bargain he has made. He is just as ignorant as those who admire him, seeing in him, until punishment catches up with him, the proof that one can beat the rap and get away with murder. The fallacy in this reasoning is not hard to find. It reveals itself in the fact that no criminal, as yet, has committed a perfect crime. No matter how thick-witted the law enforcement officer is, no matter how clever the criminal, the officer always prevails over the criminal, for he has an invaluable ally in the criminal's unconscious self-damaging tendencies. Consciously, the criminal wants to escape detection and punishment. Unconsciously, he wants to be caught and condemned. The term unconscious conscience is in itself the misnomer. It is a concession to the need to describe unconscious mechanisms in the language of consciousness. The phrase is confusing because conscience carries the implication of a just, though restrictive, institution. If you do the right thing, you remain at peace with conscious conscience. This is by no means the case where unconscious science is concerned. There is no way of appeasing that institution. Whatever you do spells punishment. The principle is simple: severity untempered by justice or mercy. Unconscious conscience is an unjust, cruel, malicious, pleasure-pouring monster. This sounds slightly fantastic, and all the more so because of its resemblance to Frankenstein's monster, since each and every person creates his inner torturer himself. Let's look at the record. The truth which survives is simply the lie leastus, agreeable to remember, mocked the late H.L. Mencken. In psychiatric problems, the barrier most difficult to pass is our contemporaries' stubborn certainty that they already know all there is to know. They consider any attempt to complicate matters by adducing unconscious mechanisms to be some malicious trick designed to confound the adherents of common sense. If there were any person ignorant enough to believe sincerely that flipping the button which switches on the electric light is in itself the act which produces electricity, and pig-headed enough to deny the existence of the power station which generates the current, he would be laughed at. But if a psychiatrist claims that our emotions are no more than reverberations of an internal power station, the identical people would laugh at him, or at the very least, consider him a Confucianist with sinister aims. Whether one likes it or not, there does exist an internal power station, and the energy produced there goes through a complex secondary and tertiary system of transformers until it reaches consciousness. These complex transformers account for the fact that every emotion has a case history, which is not identical with the emo, tie invisible on the surface. Experience proves that factual information concerning the unconscious is unpalatable to the uninitiated. Perhaps this same information, presented symbolically and woven together in a sort of fairy tale, may prove less unpleasant. Once upon a time a baby, a much more complicated baby than the average, was born under a curse. A witch who wished to torture him endowed him with an unconscious. What happened to this unhappy child? The baby grew into a boy who looked no different from his peers. But he carried an invisible burden. Within him was a large storeroom, like a mental cellar, where he could deposit all the disagreeable thoughts, feelings, fantasies from which other people angrily drew back, saying, "I don't want to think about that." The witch's curse seemed to be an advantage at first. While other people struggled with unpleasant thoughts, he had only to command that they disappear, and presto, they would vanish. "How lucky I am," bragged the boy, enjoying his power. But the witch who had installed the repression, the magic of making disagreeable thoughts, feelings, and fantasies disappear by transferring them from consciousness to the unconscious, had not meant to make the boy's life easier. And soon enough the dreary effects of the Greek gift became evident. The unpleasant thoughts the boy had expelled did not remain meekly and peacefully tucked away. Instead, they persistently and impertinently attempted to return to the locality of consciousness from which they had been exiled. The poor boy had to pay twice for what had originally seemed like a blessing. First, he had to divert great masses of energy to the job of holding back the dangerous and unpleasant material, a task as difficult as keeping a genie in his bottle by brute force. This energy could no longer be used for productive purposes. Second, a mysterious something within him would not leave him in peace. He felt guilty for exactly those thoughts, feelings, and fantasies which he had already dispatched into the exile of invisibility. His bargain turned out to be no bargain at all. As he grew older, he no longer knew what he had repressed, for once a thought was labeled unconscious, it had to remain not conscious, and thus unknown to the conscious self. Therefore, he could not fight the real enemy, nor apply his developing power of thinking and reasoning to the problem of proving himself not guilty of deeds he actually had not commit. Consequently, he was punished for fantasies, not deeds, and for fantasies he had repressed.
Magical gesture. I'm shaking it. Come on. That's a magical gesture. To think that if I shake it, it'll keep reading. But I don't know what's going on here. I have a random. It's very random when this thing works. It doesn't work. Maybe the spacing issue. So what you just heard was the beginning 2 pages of chapter 2 of Edmund Berger's book called intentions can be reduced to nuisances. And he's explaining in a little bit lengthy way the idea that our regular conscience is normal stuff, right? Your conscience. You have a conscience. Now, what about the unconscious? There's no conscience there in the normal sense, but he says unconscious conscience as a vocabulary issue. But it's different. The unconscious conscience, it always says you're guilty. You can never please it. All right. So it's different from the conscious conscience. So there is the two sides like that. So he was trying to create a fairy tale a little bit. Burglar tries out various little ways to get this across. I've oversimplified it myself. With the idea that his anger attacking himself, this pain. So when he triggers the past, the happy chemicals from the womb, the memories, fuse in or pleasurize the pain to not feel the pain, but the pain creates the chase to trigger the past. That's my kind of abbreviation of it all. Psychomasochism. So if this is going on all the time, this is your unconscious conscience. So his formulation is, as if there's a theater in the mind like that, what would get out of this? Were you good enough or perfect enough to save your mother? No, so you're still there. So nothing you do can get you out of this thing. So it's as if there's a voice called the unconscious conscious comparing you to you being something perfect that your parent wanted that would have healed her. The mother turned to the baby, heal me, fix me, cure me. I'm in pain, I want love, I want to be saved from my past. Okay, I'll do it, mother. Did you do it? No. Did you do it? No. No matter what you do in life, you'll never heal your mother back in the nursery. So it's not reasonable like that. So you're always guilty. No matter what's going on in life, the unconscious voice saying you're guilty. Did you save your mother? No. Now you may have the hope that if you're perfect in something, if you're the number one this or the number one that, maybe just a sense that you are the perfectness that your mother wanted. That would have been a symbolic breast for her. So you're striving for that. Okay, you want to strive for this delusion. Did you get that delusion? No, guilty. Even if you got the delusion, it won't work. Sometimes you get the delusion. He says maybe you can fool it a little bit, put it on hold a little bit or something. Okay, it's considered a theory called psychomasochism, the pleasurization of the pain that we inflict upon ourselves. And he has he does the courtroom thing, right? The soul gets a okay, never mind, let's do another time. How are we doing here? 3 hours. To my surprise, it's not crazy busy here today. On a regular Monday, it's actually quite busy. You know, truth is, once in a while, I did once see a naughty kid, very deviant naughty kid, really doing cold. I once did see a kid do some, who gave me that eerie vibe, and the mother was delighting in it. The mother was enjoying it. So some mothers, they want their kids to be psychopathic or antisocial, because the mother wants the son, okay, to play the role of her in the nursery, to fight with her mother. So she wants a certain power. Either the boy will be like a He-Man, like a Lou Ferrigno Hulk or something. Good, be a Hulk. Fight with my mother. Tell my mother to back off. Tell my mother that I want her love. Be angry to voice my anger. So she's still in the unconscious theater, in the past, unresolved. Has a son. Come on, son, play me fighting for my mother. Be angry at my mother, because that's my cry for love. The poor son is not being seen for who he is. He's being used to play a role for the mother. Kid will go along with it. Now he sees the world as his grandmother, demanding his grandmother to be nice to his mother. And the mother's saying, good boy. That's his role. Of course he'll be angry at his mother for this. Okay, this is Lucy Holmes's theory. How if the mother was if a baby girl is born, and the mother says, "Hey, daughter, you know what? When I was a baby myself, I didn't get oneness with my mother. You know what? I want you to play me. You'll play a proxy role of me back in my nursery. I'm still in the past, so you'll play me, and I'll control you to give you me my oneness, because I can control it. I want to get oneness, so you play me. I'm going to make sure I, via you, get my oneness. Daughter," so the daughter said, if the baby daughter could speak, you're putting me in the role of you back then, and you want a oneness, and now you're going to control the thing by forcing me to be fused with you, and demanding that you get your oneness, using me as a proxy standard for you. So this daughter is enraged by this. So the daughter grows up and hopes that if she has a boy, good, I'm glad it's a boy. Look, boy, I'm angry at what my mother did to me. I want you to be Lou Ferrigno, or better yet, be a psychopath. I don't know. And fight with the world, rebel against the world, because that's my rebellion against my mother, and rebellion is the wish to get mother's love. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into this festival. I can see little, 3-year-olds with squirt guns and things. And they're gonna maybe pick up the attitude of the parents. What fantasies does dad have with this water gun? And the kid has it, right? The kids might be picking up this kind of fantasies. I don't know. Some people say it's a tension release. Some people say maybe that's the. There's no talking, right? There's no talking. Why don't we have talking festivals? What about festivals where everyone gets to let's think about that. Let's think about a festival where it's how would that work? Everyone has to say, when everyone sees everybody, everyone has to say one thing they kind of like about what they see, and one thing maybe they're not crazy about, they don't like. With the understanding that each person knows that it could be about them, it could be a projection on their end, there could be some remote beam, there could be some truth to it. So like a feedback festival, a feedback shadow festival, call it the shadow festival. So everyone will tell everyone something about you that I think you might not be aware of yourself is. Or when I see this about you, I think such and such. So it's not meant to be an attack. It's meant to be a painful feedback. You know, no one ever told me about it. I didn't know that. Didn't realize I had that impression on others. So why not have like a shadow festival where you have 100,000 people wandering around, and for whatever it is, one day or whatever it is, everyone has the understanding, and green and instructions are given. Everyone gets the instruction list, got a clear, disclaimer, instruction, clear. Okay, there's no attack. Okay, where everyone is allowed to say golden projection, shadow projection. Everyone says to everyone, I don't know, maybe you can do it like maybe you do it. If someone's, okay, it's just simple. If someone's not talking to somebody, you can approach them and do the little nod thing. All right, who starts? And you do an exchange. Or maybe they do a card thing. All right, green light, red light or something. All right, I welcome your feedback. Red light, no, I don't want your feedback. Maybe something like that. Yeah, so people can pass with the red card. No, I don't want your feedback. Or no, that defeats the purpose, right? So it'd be like 1, 2. So you start and then I go second. So 1, 2. Okay. So I have the card that says 1. I'll go first. Or number 2. Could you go first? And he says, no, you go first. He has number 2. And you might have this thing going on. Who's going to go first? Maybe. All right, I'll go first. Or maybe you don't need cards. Maybe you just forget about it. If it's understood what the festival is, Shadow Day, everyone rambles around. No violence, no insults, no attack, no acting out, no acting out, no threats, nothing like that. No threats, no intimidation, no bullying. It's to make people aware. One thing that you see that's their golden trait, and one thing that you think it'd be helpful for them to know. But the understanding is the person hearing it, they gotta be psychologically minded to know that it might be a pure projection on their end. And they can take it or not, whatever. But they're not meant to take what they say as an insult, even though the other person might be saying it as an insult. You gotta allow that as a condition of the festival, that there are people who are gonna blow off steam, who are filled with hate, and they're just going around insulting people or something. So you got to put up with that kind of thing. But nevertheless, there may be a crumb of truth in their observation, and take that crumb of truth as an opportunity. Yes, you might hate them for the rest of your life for saying that. I don't know if they were so rude like that, they insulted you like that. But so maybe you got to have a language format. Yeah, maybe like when I see your posture kind of slouching a bit, I see that you have a slightly slouching posture. I think it shows. I think that you're showing a lack of confidence. Okay, that's fine enough, right? Or I see you're very rigid in your body posture. You walk like a stick cardboard. I think you have a lot of tension in your body. Okay. Yeah, okay, so put it this way. Make it observational. Okay, well, how about that? Everything's got to be an observation. Everything has to, how about this? Observation day. Yeah, maybe they make it safe. Observation day. So you got 100,000 people on the street, and it's observation day. Observation. I notice you have no hair. And I notice you walk with a slouch, a bit of a slouch. Okay, thank you, next. Everyone has to give an observation to everyone. So you spend all day, yeah, that's good enough, that's good enough. That's good enough. That's safe enough and it's good enough. No insults, no judgments, no projections. Pure observation. Pure, neutral, factual observation. Okay? So you got 100,000 people on the streets, and everyone's mingling and all rambling. And if one person gives an observation, the other person returns. Right? Now, you may feel upset being told this observation, but it's neutral, it's a fact. So there's no insult. It's ultimately, the balance will be helpful. How about that, instead of people's opinions or something, right? Yeah, that's gonna be, someone's bound to get angry by that, right? If it's gonna be a public event, okay, observation day, personal observation day. Personal observation day. So you got 1,000 people in the streets walking down the parade thing, or back and forth, mingling, or whatever it is. Organized, of course, lots of security as usual. Okay, so you see someone, and everybody you pass by, you get to say something. I notice. I noticed you're sweating. So you notice? So, okay. So then the other person would reply, right? It could be positive, or it could be considered positive or negative, right? Well, I notice that your shirt and your pants, they don't match. There's a oh, that's a judgment, right? Okay. I notice that your shirt has a beach motif, and your pants have a more formal motif. Neutral stuff. Okay, fair enough. All right, I'll take that. Okay. Okay, the next person comes along. Oh, there's a little kid on the side there, looking at me with a ooh. What's that? Curious kid running around. Okay, so yeah, I noticed. Okay, let me give it some thought here. I'm a little tired here. Yeah. Oh. Okay, why not? Let's end up with a song here. Okay, let's end up with a folk singer here. These are really cute little, 4 or 5 really cute little kids, aged between maybe 1 and 3 or something. Okay. Let's go. What song? I just found the new. I just found a new radio channel, a new channel podcast called specializing in modern German rap. Can you believe it? It's not bad. I didn't realize that rap music, rap in German is pretty good. It sounded pretty good. Maybe should I dig it out? Hang on a second. Let's see if I can dig it up here. Go to the channel WRIR 97.3. Is that it here? Shows. Go to shows. I don't see Global A Go-Go. I don't know what happened to them. That was a great world music channel from here called Global A Go-Go. I don't see it here. Okay, these are the shows. This is one of these community listener-supported community stations or something. Yeah, the Congo. Yeah, the Congo's good. The ambience Congo. They got just music from the Congo, just specifically only on the Congo. It's good. Okay. What else? Yeah. Oh, there it is. Deutscher Jam. Oh, there it is. There. German flag. Deutscher Jam. This is a new channel. Deutscher Jam. Willkommen zu unseren Deutscher Jam. Hey everyone, and welcome to our Deutscher Jam. This show should serve as a connecting ground to showcase and play current and classic German artists here in Richmond. Okay, Richmond. Richmond, what? North Carolina or something? We're going, okay, so she gives a little blurb there. Some nice scenes of Germany. Germany's it's really a it's a beautiful place, am I gonna say. Schiller's from there, right? Schiller, Goethe, Schiller, all these. Okay. The most recent episode is April 3, right? Play show. Let me just randomly Hang on. Not all of them are great, but there's a few good ones in here. Hang on. Let's find one of them. Hang on. The host gets very excited. She sings along with the song. You're trying to hear the song, but she's singing over it. She's so excited sometimes. Huh? Yeah, why don't we just end it up on this one here then? Okay, thanks very much. This concludes part 3 of a special run of quotes on an extremely challenging topic. Got a long way to go. Oh, I lost the art. Never mind. A long way to go to clarify on it. I found it personally a little enlightening, a little bit. So check out the quotes between 48 and 54. So go to 3248 to 54 in the channel here. The quotes below were discussed previously. I'm doing a bit of an overlap thing. I'm discussing quotes in preview mode, and when I get to the actual quotes, I might just preview some future quotes or redo the ones depending on my mood like that. Oh, I lost it, eh? What happened? That was a good song, that one we had there. Can I get it back? That was lost. Deutscher Jam. Is that the same one? What I like about it is they give you the song list, so they tell you they post the actual names of the songs. Yeah, oh yeah, what's that there? Oh, if you click around, you'll get the thing. Where is it? Oh, playlist. I'm missing it here. What happened? Where are they? Oh, for Pete's sakes. Okay. Let me just pick out a song next time. All right. Yeah. Son of a gun. Not one of my more smooth deliveries. A lot of hum. I have a lot of ums and ahs, and today it's a little more than average. I don't really get many views, so the quotes are posted in the description box. I'm kind of focused on getting the quotes out. A lot of quotes are hard to find. There's a bit of a both and. A lot of books are being withdrawn, removed, unavailable. At the same time, new stuff's being added, so it's a little mixed like that. But I notice this AI thing is concerning, because if you do a search, a regular search, it might lead you to something in this channel, right? But if you do it only through AI, you'll never find it. So there's some hope to find this channel if you search for something, right? Like it's kind of shadow banned as it is, but you might be able to find it if you dig around. But if AI is the sole search, then the shadow. So AI accelerates what's going on. It's more efficient of what's going on. Right? So if there's a shadow banning on this information, then AI will accelerate, and that seems to be the case. The sample was the phrase homo traumicus. I've been using the phrase homo traumicus as a shortcut, that we're a traumatized version of ourselves. So let's study, because one shrink said, study trauma because we're traumatized. If you want to know yourself, study trauma. We're homo traumicus. So I've been using the phrase homo traumicus. If you type in the phrase in quotes homo traumicus, it'll lead you to this channel. But if you go to AI mode, it'll say there's no such recognition of anything about anybody being homotraumacus. It doesn't exist. What do you mean it doesn't exist? I've been talking about it for 6 years. We're homotraumacus. We're a traumatized version of ourselves. We accidentally traumatized ourselves somewhere between 6 and 10,000 years ago. And if we're plundering the planet for a quick buck, we're homotraumacus. We're a traumatized version of ourselves. I'm calling homotrauma. Somebody said, well, homo short-sellicus, homo economicus, homo plundering the planet for quick buckacus, homo neuroticus, homo dysfunctionalicus. Take your pick. We're not our naturalis, homo naturalis version of ourselves. Right? We're a dysfunctional version of ourselves. We're a messed up version of ourselves. Homo messed upicus. We're homo messed upicus. If we deliberately create poverty and misery because a few people can only do that, and they rise to the top to do that, and that's the survival mentality of the most traumatized, the most traumatized, the most traumatized, of the most traumatized, etc. And the more traumatized, the more they climb up, right? Now some are failed, some succeed, whatever. So there's successful psychopaths, unsuccessful psychopaths. Unsuccessful psychopaths probably in the prison, right? The successful psychopaths climbing the ladder, or they're kind of withdrawn or something, whatever. Psychopath next door or something. And you only hear about it if they commit a crime or something. But you live with the eerie feeling. There's an eerie feeling if you live next door to something like that, right? Oh my goodness, how am I going to end this video here? I feel a little unsatisfied in today's delivery here. I feel like I want to come up with some fun, upbeat, happy closing. Should we play those young ladies? They were, you know, there's a clip of them. There's a clip of them singing. Oh, let's stick up that clip. So the three. Let's close up with the three young ladies. Oh, Cat visits the library so often, he now has his own library card. Oh, around his collar, he's got a library card. Oh, that's cute. All right. Okay, what's it called again? True? What's it called again? Both can be true, right? Both can be true, right? Both sides now. Both sides now. Both can be true. Is that what it's called? Yeah, true. The band is called Truesdale. Truesdale. Hold on a second. True. TROUSDALE. Okay, there's an acoustic. I noticed an acoustic version of them. Was that it there? Is that it there? Oh, I can't hardly hear it. Oh, the volume's too low. Okay, on second thought, let's play another song. Hang on a sec. Let's close up with Angel's Whisper. Angel's Whisper. Last time we closed up with we got the kids here. Let's not play a rock song or anything. Beatrice, dear. Okay, let's just close up with that song. Both Can Be True, the studio one. Both can be true. Both can be true. We can be ourselves, and we can be confused, and we can be okay. All that can be true. And we can be scared, and we can feel it, and that can be true. So just accept your experience. Have an attitude of self-acceptance to what you're going through. There's an innate drive for healing, but we're afraid of healing. Both exist, both are true. Yes, we're afraid of healing, and we want to heal. Both are true. So just accept the two sides, both sides now. Okay, when the song ends, I'll hit the stop button. Okay, I probably won't post any shorts. I probably won't post any shorts from this video. I don't feel like I came up with any real insights. My mind is on that one about the cranking out of all these films, non-stop violence, non-stop display of psychopathic violence. Just almost everything you watch is something like that. It seems to be a repetition compulsion. It seems to be some kind of repetition compulsion. That in the mind, there's a predator and a prey in the mind. So as a child, we were the victim, we were the prey, and mother was the aggressor. But the baby exaggerates the aggressor into a predator. The mother's not a predator. But it's the baby's experience. It's the baby's perception, his helplessness, his powerlessness, his small size, and the total trust. Things are exaggerated for the baby. So little things by the mother are huge fantasies in the mind for the baby. If the mother holds the baby too tightly, there's the nightmare of the laces in the Snow White with the laces, the tight laces. The mother grabbed the baby. The mother was holding the baby in an angry manner. So that's the nightmare of the laces. The feeling that mother robbed your soul. Okay, that's when the wicked queen wants to eat the heart. You know? The cortisol in the stress in the mother. That's the poison apple. Okay, apple, nipple. Okay, toxic too much cortisol in the milk gets into the feeding. So that the symbol of the poison apple is the baby was nursing. The mother was in a bad mood, too much stress and angry. And so on. The thing about the comb, Robert Bly thinks the mother's angry thoughts. So the thoughts are like out from the head, like association, like hair, comb. So when the mother's combing the baby, that's her poison thoughts, toxic thoughts when she's combing, poison comb. So the baby's experiencing the toxic thoughts of the mother, the cortisol in the milk, rough handling with the laces, and ultimately she wants to rob the child's budding beauty, his individuality, his potential individuality. Mother's wicked queen's jealous of me. Give it to me. Can't handle it. Wicked queen. All that stuff. All right. Let's close it up here. It's really getting busy here now. All right. Both can be true. Okay, see you in the next video. See you in the next video.
With my parents, I am grateful and embarrassed to be 29 on a dime, on a dream. I'm a failure and a fortress. My subconscious is at war with itself. Getting anxious, getting patient, getting help. Yeah, both can be true. You can win and you can lose. You can face your fears and still be terrified. You can live with regret, forgive and not forget. You can know what you want and that you'll change your mind. And both can be true. Yeah, both can be true. Little joys, big disasters, someone's pain, someone's laughter can be in the same room at the same time. It's kind of funny that both can be true. You can win and you can lose. You can face your fears and still be terrified. You can live with regret, forgive and not forget. You can know what you want and that you'll change your mind. And both can be true. Yeah, 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 both can be true. You can win, you can lose. You can face your fears and still be terrified.